What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to episode 68 of C4SVillains. I am your host JB and I'm here with the Council of Villains, my boys Vash and Steve, and we are here to talk about Miss Marvel episodes 2 and 3. I've been loving this series so far. I've been loving every single one of these Disney Plus series. Kevin Feige and his team just keep pumping out these incredible shows one after the other, and it is just leading into She-Hulk and a bunch of other things, and it's just making me really excited, guys. This is a great time to be a comic book fan. But Steve, Vash, thank you guys so much for joining me for this episode.
Of course, man. I was all like, I got to get in on some of this talk. I know the last time we did villains, we were doing Star Wars, and I was like, are we not doing Miss Marvel? And you guys were like, oh, we did it on Thursday. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, I got to make sure I pull up for that. So
yeah,
appreciate you.
It's great to be here for episode 2 and 3, and I can't wait for me to convince James, like, yo, we need to have a Star Wars show for us not to have two shows of villains, and to know that we have 3 left or 2 more shows of Star Wars this year and like 2 or 3 more shows of Marvel this year. It's gonna be hectic for the rest of the last 2 quarters of the year, so I can't wait for me to try to convince more James, like, Star Wars show. Let's go.
Yeah, if you guys want us to make a Star Wars show completely separate from villains, I'm down. It'll be a fun project to work on with Vash and Chris and Steve and whoever else wants to join on that show. I think that'll be a lot of fun. So let's get into the announcements. First off, you've got to see this. Episode 11 is out right now. The guys reviewed Lightyear, Hustle, and RRR, a Bollywood film. Go ahead and check out that review. Let them know that the Villains crew sent you. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the audio-only version of this podcast, C4SVillains. Leave us a comment. We'll read it out loud right here on the show. And leave us a rating as well. Also, make sure you guys are subscribed to Inside and Mind of the Blurred. Make sure you guys subscribe to Anime Lately. Support all of the creatives here on the council on the villains team. So let's get into it. Steve, you weren't here on the first Miss Marvel review. What are your overall thoughts on Miss Marvel episode 1? Like, did you like it? Did it meet your expectations?
So yes, I originally went into it not, with an open mind, because I had no idea what we were going to get. I didn't know very much about Miss Marvel other than the Avengers video game. So I had no expectations at all for it. When I went into it, I was like, okay, this is a lot of fun. I see what kind of show this is going to be. I saw a couple of people complaining for no reason, but I was all like, she's a kid. So, what I'm saying? It's supposed to be targeted towards a younger audience in a sense. It's got to be more friendly. It can't just come in with adult themes with a 11, 12-year-old kid. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, of course, that's what they're doing. And I thought they did a pretty good job of like making it work and shaping it out. I like the what is it, the streaming stuff that they're kind of doing. She's
with
supposed
her
to be a
YouTube channel.
Yeah, she's like a content creator, and I thought that was really cool. I was like, okay.
Slav Baby Production, I think it's called.
Yeah. That's what it is.
I was like, okay, this is interesting. I was like, it's like iCarly the superhero.
Right.
Yeah,
but
totally right.
I liked it though. I really liked that episode, and I thought that they had a lot of good things that were developing with it. And I was, because I was really afraid of how they would show stretchy powers in the universe and stuff like that. And I like the fact that they're not super focused on her using a stretching ability. She's got more abilities and things like that. So I actually really like that little different thing, because we've seen a couple of times where stretching on camera just doesn't look good. And I feel like it works out with the ability that they're using to save the stretching for Mr. Fantastic when he's finally fully into the screen. Instead of having two characters that do that, now you have a character that does straight up stretching and then one that has an ability with the bangles. So I like it.
Yeah, you guys know I'm a huge Kamala Khan fan. Like, she's one of us. You know what I mean? She's a fan just like us that became an Avenger. I can't imagine like having a better scenario happen to me. So I was very excited for Miss Marvel.
I do want to add for anybody that has a YouTube, go check out Slavic Production because Marvel is actually putting
It's a real channel.
It's a real channel, and they actually put a podcast episode of Ant-Man. I haven't had the chance to check it out. It's 24 minutes, so definitely go check it out. This is Kevin Feige's way of putting more story of the MCU in a smart way, where it's literally 4-4 breaking within the YouTube channel of Slav Productions, but also where we can watch the actual information that's being produced from Slav Baby. So definitely go check that out. I have seen the smaller clips. I just haven't checked out the video that they put out yesterday. So please go check it out because they're actually putting work in this.
Yeah, they're putting in a lot of work into this show, and I love it, right? I just thought they were going to change her powers. I did not think, and I should have known better because the MCU does such a good job of building lore and building out these different things. I should have anticipated that they would have done something this cool, which makes it a part of her lineage that goes back 100 years, maybe even more. We might learn more later on, right? Like, they've built in so much great stuff into this story. So let's jump into episode 2. At the end of episode 1, you know, she uses her powers at Avengers Con. She saves Zoe Zimmerman. And in this episode, she walks into high school, and it's the exact parallel to her walking in the first episode, right? In the first episode, she walks in, she's pretty awkward. There's this couple in front of her locker. She's afraid to ask them to move. And here, has so much more confidence. She just kind of splits them apart, gets to her locker, saying hello to everyone, even though they're not really paying attention to her. But it just plays up like the high school kid feel, right? Like, I'm so separated from that. I'm old now, but it's cool to see it on screen.
I love this for that reason because, like James, I'm not old, but you know I'm getting there. But I can relate because I've had moments where I felt like an outcast. But there are days where you come in and you feel good. I've been on a sports team of high school, so when you won a game, when you won the game the day before, you come in and you hear an announce where the whole speaker says, "Hey, the team of the Bulls won and everything," and you know, get a little cheer. You feel more pumped. You feel like you're the man of the world. You feel like the king of high school right there. And that's what our girl Kamala Khan felt like. She got powers. She always wanted to be part of it. She wanted to feel part of a clique that she is inspired from. And for her to feel like she literally just unlocks some type of ability, girl, and the way they just shine, the way the shot that she felt, like Jim said, the opposite field. Girl play with the basketball. Girl said, like, hey, the most smoothest line, hey, you know what's so dope about AirPods? You don't have to stand close to each other. I just love that because it's very true.
Yeah.
So it's just that little nice nod, like the little small, nice writing, the small nods. It was very well done.
My thing is, why can't you make out in front of your own locker, like somewhere else? Like, why in front of someone else's like random locker? Like, I don't get it. They pissed me off, bro. I'm like, why are you here? Like, both of you have lockers. Be in at one of them. Like,
unless one of them is like right next to it, but then that means you could just slide a little bit over,
right?
Or something like that. Like,
you
don't have to be directly in front of my locker. But that's always like one of those crazy things where I remember like being in like a apartment complex, and then there'd be like 10 dudes standing outside, and then they sitting on your car, and you're like, I gotta go to work.
You'd be like, why my car? Like, why can't you sit on a pole, sit on the rail of the building, but on a car?
It pisses me off so much, dude. I'm like, why?
Yeah,
like, what's so cool about that?
Yeah, so now I got to go to work and I got to ask you to move off my car.
Again, I can't wait for us to talk about the car thing, because why would you wear a random chick that you just met, even though by the end of the episode, we know why, because he knew about her. But at first I'll be like, yo, you just met the chick and you letting a random chick drive your car?
Yeah.
and you find out that she failed her test
like,
the night before,
bro,
I would never, never.
It's a Porsche. Like,
Thank
she
you.
was
Thank you
not
that too.
driving
It's
my
not a
Porsche,
car.
bro.
As much as I love my fiance, she don't have a driver license yet. Just because my fiance would tell me, "Hey, babe, can you even drive?" I would teach her to drive in a parking lot, not on literally on a road.
And
No.
not in my Porsche.
Not in my.
No.
We will
No.
rent a car and I will teach you how to drive.
Yes.
Not in my Porsche. That's not happening.
Hell
But
no.
Kamala bumps into Kamran, who is, as you guys know from the comics, is an Inhuman, right? He has like energy-based powers in the comics, so it was cool to see him pop up here. And of course, like in a true high school fashion, of course, Kamala is absolutely starstruck in love with Kamran in this scene. I love it. Like it's cool coming of age high school story. This is why I don't get like what you were talking about, Steve. Like, why are you complaining about this show? She's like 15, 16 years old. She's in high school. Like, of course it's supposed to be like this. It's supposed to feel like a kid show because they're kids.
Exactly. And it's so annoying. There's always someone that's going to complain. You can't please everybody, obviously.
Once I saw it on screen and the boy crush and everything, it made sense. She's a junior in high school and he's a senior. It's normal for a lot of juniors to like a senior. A lot of people question if she was a freshman, then a senior. I'm like that is a crush, but then I'll make a question. But if she's a junior or senior, that's been normal in any type of day and age in high school. So when I saw it happen, I'm like, okay. And also, did he purposely bump into her? Most likely.
Definitely.
But
Yeah,
it just works out. Is planning. And I can't wait for us to dive more into episode 3 because I have theories of what is going to be happening with the mother and son relationship, because that is like in the comics, it doesn't work out. There's always that type of dynamic.
It's the classic meet cute scenario where the hot guy at school bumps into the main girl in the story, and she's head over heels in love, and he's like so cool. I'm like, there's no way that this is just like this. I'm not saying that he can't like her, but there has to be some other motive here. Like he's too into her right away, right? Like you have to be cool. You got to play the game a little bit. He's a little bit too interested, right? So I
that pool party, right?
Just
comes out, does a whole
right.
I think like a triple flip. I'm like, okay, you just did a triple flip like it's nothing. Come out of the water just all shirtless, looking like a whole man bod, and then be like, "Hey, you're on my shirt." I'm like, that's just ironically the girl that you're just supposed to get close with, just randomly on your shirt.
Yeah, she's right there.
The timing. That's
But then we switch to a rooftop scene where we finally get to see her training with her powers. I love these moments in any show, in any movie, where we get to watch the character experiment and learn about their powers, right? Like her and Bruno come up with the name Hard Light, and it was cool to just watch her like mess around with her powers. So Steve, starting with you, what did you think about that scene? Like, did you enjoy watching her mess around with her powers and figuring it out?
It reminded me of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. That's the first thing that I thought about when she was trying to mess around with the power. She's on the rooftop, and it just really felt like that. And I thought it was really funny when the scene where the hard light, I guess like floor things, falls, and then she's like holding on and she's hanging on. And I was like, now why the heck would she try that? I was like, why would she try that so high?
Go big or go home, bro.
Yeah, and then of course the camera pans down. And it's like a 1 foot drop, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes a lot more sense. That makes a lot more sense.
Just drop it, like, and he said, okay, just drop.
Yeah, because I was like, why would she try that so high? I was like, what the fuck? But yeah, it reminded me a lot of Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire when he was practicing his webbing and things like that, and he was trying to climb and stuff like that. And we don't get those scenes that often anymore, because now we're so far into the phases. We had Tony Stark do it in Iron Man. We had Captain America doing it and things like that. So we got those scenes, but we don't get them anymore because now
we did see in Sam, practicing with the shield, because like that's the only time we saw it recently. Other than that, in the most recent, we saw Hawkeye We saw them training, so that's only two I can recall that they did training type of
It's in the TV shows, though.
scenes.
It's not in the movies anymore.
That is
And
true.
they have origin movies, and they're just like, we're not doing that. We're just gonna, you guys know who this guy is, and they just go on right on along and past it. And I miss those scenes. I miss the wackiness of it, of them failing and stuff like that. You just watching them learn and get it. And even like where you said Captain America, I mean, with Hawkeye, with Falcon, in Falcon Winter Soldier, when he's training with to be Captain America, it's not really like, like crazy like how they were failing and fall, like Iron Man kind of like falls and then Jarvis sprays and stuff. We get that wackiness and stuff, like the funny parts with it. I felt like with Falcons, it was more so serious and it was cool. You know what I'm saying? It's
There were some
important that he
wacky
gets
moments.
to-
The shield almost took off his head once.
That is
He
true.
did, yeah, he does duck it. Yeah. Okay.
He went.
Fair enough.
You're like, oh shit.
Yeah, fair enough. I forgot about that one. But yeah, like I missed those. I missed those scenes. And it was cool to have those.
Same, yeah. Like I didn't even think about it until you brought it up. We really don't get those types of scenes anymore because everyone's so established at this point, right? Like even when you introduce the Eternals, they've already been around for thousands of years. They're not learning anything. You know what I mean? Like really good examples. Vash, what about you? Like what did you think about this scene? Like just watching Kamala like learn how to use her powers.
Weird comparison in my show because I am the youngest out of all three of us. It reminded me a bit of Kim Possible. I don't know why, but it reminded me a bit of Kim Possible, like girl in high school.
I love Kim Possible.
So
a
her
lot of
practicing, her with practicing with her powers, even though Kim Possible knew how to fight and do her cardio, but she did have to train Ron and everything, work around with what he could do, and that's what our girl Kamala Khan was doing. And I love how she was taking inspiration from not Brian. Wow, I'm calling his name Brian actually.
Bruno.
Thank you, Bruno.
You're doing what Cameron does, which is calling him Brian. For shame.
I know in my head it just came Brian first. I'm like, wait, that's his actual name, Bruno. That it was beautiful. That for a second, I thought they were playing Temple Run. I don't know why, because the game looked so much like Temple Run, but I don't know what it was. But it was nice that she kind of got the idea of those small surfaces, and it kind of worked so well for her to know, like, oh, I'm gonna take the inspiration and see of what they could do, and just her practicing to know that by the end of the episode, she had to literally, you do this or the kid dies. So it kind of worked out for her at the end.
Yeah, that was also a really important moment. I can't wait to get there. Every hero has that moment where they have to just stop overthinking it and just rely on their instincts in order to save, someone. So that's a really important moment throughout this entire episode. So after that, we get to the mosque. And I think this is a really, really important scene and something that Marvel does really, really well, which is actually having diversity and inclusion. It's not just picking people of different ethnicities, different religions, and just putting them in different shows and movies, but actually exploring their different backgrounds, actually exploring their family life and learning more about them and teaching people about different cultures. So that's what I think the MCU has done really well so far. So Steve, I'll toss it to you again. Like, what did you think about like them going into this, giving us a glimpse into what it's like for them going to the mosque, especially the fact that the women are in the back, they don't have any speakers back there, all of their stuff is like molded over and all of these different things, the segregation between men and women. Like, what did you think about the exploration of that?
I liked it. I liked it. I thought it was a good depiction of it as well, of what their religion is really like without being, I guess, they're still trying, they're showing and they're trying to depict it in the right way without being glaring, because this is still a kid show. So they're not being glaring and like, out blatantly just showing like, oh, this is what we do to women type thing, but they are still naturally doing, depicting it the way that it's kind of is in their society. And I think that that's important to even just showcase and show that this is how things are, and just getting that insight of it, without, like I said, not trying to blatantly throw how that religion is and everything over there. But I do like that that they showed us a deep dive into it. I did like I thought the uniform costume design was pretty well done as well. I definitely liked the women's sheiks that they had and things like that. I thought that those were cool. That not just sheiks, but what was the dresses and things like that.
Yeah, the
We're in
hijab and then the I can't
his
remember
job,
what
yeah.
the dresses are called.
Yeah, but I thought that the costume design was really done well as well, and just getting to see that and everybody just showing that side, and it just shows that there's more to that religion and that race and everything like that, that ethnicity than what we are normally seeing. It gave me Crazy Rich Asian vibes where we got to see more into it, and I definitely appreciated that.
Yeah, Vash, what about you? What did you think
I
about
love
them
that
bringing
scene.
actual like representation in?
I love that scene very much. I wish it was a bit more, but we saw more in episode 3. I wish instead of the sprinkling the culture and the highlight of those things, I wish they did it more, because the line of how the line of how Kamala reached out and saying that, hey, we can't really hear you because the speakers are bad here, and saying, and then her friend Kami, I think her name is Kami, right?
Mhm.
Nakia is
Nakia,
it
thank you.
Nakia? Yeah.
Yeah, Nakia. I love how she says that the line she said, it is only the woman's side that needs work. The men's side has a good speaker, the good floor, good everything. And that's very true in the Muslim culture, that what the woman class is still as a second people. It's not all as the equal. And I love how they did focus on that. Again, I wish it was more, I wish it was more highlighted. But with Nakia, we saw that of how she also ran as a board member, which that's a very beautiful thing, and is very new with within the Muslim culture for a lot of the women to be in the board members. Back then, it was only men, so that was very beautiful to see that on screen, and it was just nice to see the pattern of where you come into the mosque, you wash your feet, you take off your shoes, and after that, they also spoke about how she brought a Versace shoes to mosque, and then you get robbed. And I've had friends that have lost their shoes and have lost their clothes in places like that. So I love how they also did highlight that, because it's very true in some cultures. So it was very nice to see. Also, I felt bad for her, but you gotta understand, do not wear Versace shoes to mosque,
Yeah.
because you will
Why
get
would
robbed.
you? Why would you do that? Just walk with some
You
like
will get.
slippers or some shit. Like, why would you take Versace? She was asking for it. I
Well,
She
don't feel
was.
I don't feel sorry for her at all. I'm sorry.
But I love how she said, if this is the 22nd shoes that has been gone robbed.
Yeah, like
Mm.
ridiculous. But anyways, but we move on to the party. Like Vash was talking about earlier, we get the scene where Kamala and Nakia are completely drooling over Kamran, and I love this entire scene again, just bringing it back to the high school movies, the coming of age type stories where there is a out of control party, the cops show up. And then, of course, the cool guy shows up in his Porsche and takes the main girl away, right? And Bruno is completely jealous this entire time that this guy just shows up and is getting
Mhm.
all of Kamala's attention. So, like, what did you guys think about that?
Those cops show in like 10 seconds. Like, those cops show so fast. They were probably, I think Kamala was probably there for that party for probably 5 minutes. And I've been to parties before, but I've never seen cops show up so fast in my life. And plus in New Jersey too. Like, that was so fast. Like, I've been to places where cops show an hour, 40 minutes, 2 hours later. You'd be like, hey, we came because we got focused. Like, well, we called you an hour ago. How you here like an hour later? Like, shit happened already. Shit went down. But it's just funny.
Let's be honest. It's probably a white neighborhood. Let's be honest.
Oh yeah, it made sense because it's Zoe's
Yeah.
white, so it made sense for that point. But it was
Noise
nice.
complaint in our neighborhood. No catastrophe.
And it's just straight to the point of how literally right once he got out of the pool, and Cameron just comes in, and they both say a word in Urdu, I think was it, saying that damn his house something, and it was hilarious. Like this scene was not for us. It was more for the comedy, and it was more for the younger audience. But it was just comedy from my end, and it was just how his car, his Porsche, fits like 6 people, I think, or 5 people in the back. Is like,
yeah, like 5
that Porsche
people
has
because
space.
Kamala was in the
front
passenger seat,
and I think
then
3 or 4 people in the
Bruno,
back.
Nakia, and someone else
And Miguel.
was in the back seat.
And I felt bad that Miguel was hovering, because I'm like, damn, my name's Miguel, and just being told that like another Miguel's hovering means that, dude, this is not your space. You should be away from Nakia. Girl don't like you. Like that's, and but he heard it too. He was like, oh, I guess I should not be here. I felt so bad for that kid.
But so I guess so Kamran drops her off. Kamala's like so happy, she's dancing at home. And again, I love the production during this scene. I love all of the cinematography, the lighting, how they animated, like how happy she was going from one room to the other, up the stairs into her room. Absolutely love the scene, love what they were doing there. What did you guys think about that? Like, just like, again, like the classic like high school story, like this girl just being so happy that she got the attention of the hot guy in school, you know?
Yeah, and it was funny. Just when she's dancing through the room and stuff like that, it makes me think of Shrek, the first Shrek, when Fiona was singing that song, the da 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 da. That it gave those kind of vibes or whatever, and she just was super happy. Then she starts doing the walk like what's it shoot, dang, I remember the dance and I can't think of it right now, but it's from the movie the one with the dead guy and then they're carrying him around the whole time. Can't remember the name right now. Damn.
I mean, does he?
I don't.
I can't.
He's dead, but they use the voodoo and then he can walk around
when they play music.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shit, I can't remember the name right now.
I know that I used to love that movie and I can't think of it anyway. But she's doing the dance like him, and because I used to be a dance and everything, so she's doing that dance and she's just super happy that she's like getting the attention from the guy that, you know, the dreamiest guy in school type stuff. It feels like a lot like a superhero Degrassi moment. Like, but yeah, she really likes it.
Yeah, I think
love
they're
that
doing a really
scene.
good job of capturing these moments.
I love that scene because of when they spoke in the car, that beautiful transition, because it was foreshadow of how they spoke about Bollywood and how they spoke about, you know, what is their favorite, what is this, and then she come home and don't have a dance number, but for anybody that have seen Bollywood, there's always a dance key in any type of musical. Like there's always like, that's their style of music. I mean, that's their style of their movies. There's always a dance number, and this was the moment for Kamala because they spoke of Bollywood, probably a 2-3 minute ago scene, but for her it was probably 25 minutes ago or more or less. And then she comes home and has her own little type of Bollywood moment, and the nice editing. Once she opens the fridge, the music stops because her mom talks to her, and then once she walks away, the music starts again, and she just goes happy, goes up the stairs, and just texts him the whole time. And I just love that transition. The camera work in the house, beautifully well done.
Yeah,
it's
I love
Weekend
how
at Bernie's.
Yeah, I was literally just about to tell you. I was looking it up.
I looked it up too. I was like, what is the name of that? Go ahead.
The end of the first movie, the second movie, actually takes place in the Virgin Islands, by the way.
Oh shit, that's dope.
Yeah, it was really cool when I saw it for the first time. But yeah, man, like I just love the production during that scene. It's so good. Vash did a great job breaking that part down. So we cut back to school. We get Bruno and the counselor, Mr. Wilson, and I fucking love this guy. I think he's absolutely hilarious. The way that he's constantly trying to use movie references to try to get through to these kids, and like Bruno's pretty much dressed like Marty McFly. I was like, why is he dressed like Marty McFly right now?
Definitely looks like Marty McFly. I didn't even think about that.
I'm glad that all 3 of us saw the same shit, because I said that like, why is he literally dressing up Marty McFly? Like, and then he made a Star Wars reference, but then he called himself as Meryl Sheep, and I'm like, you're confusing a lot of movies here, my guy. Like, what reference are you going for?
Because Mr. Wilson tells him, yo, you have an opportunity to go to Caltech, which is a huge opportunity for him, right? Like, he's young, he's getting this great opportunity to go to this great school, but he's reluctant to go because he doesn't want to leave the girl that he likes, which is so high school and so stupid. This is the moment that could change your life. Like, you could go to this school, get a great job, invest, properties, but he's just in fucking high school, and all he can think about is, but I like Kamala. I want to be her boyfriend.
Question: is he wrong though? Because all three of us here, guys, have we been there? I've been there.
We've all been there, bro.
So I understand him. So I understand. I totally understand him.
I don't know, man. I it's one of those things where it's like you never think about the future. You just think about the now at that age. It's just
at that age, yes.
It's just like, oh, I just want to do this. So I can understand, but oof, that's a crazy. Caltech is crazy, and it happens so much in like TV shows and stuff like that where they're high school. Because I mean, we were seeing it in Invincible, the way he was tripping over Amber, and like now it's the same situation. It's just like, dude, like JB said, you got a lot of life to live.
Yeah,
and
man,
Kamala's gonna be famous, and you're just gonna be, you know, a famous doctor or something. Like,
I really hope he does go. They can stay in touch. There's FaceTime, there's other ways, but he wants to be in a relationship with her. It's like, dude, go to fucking Caltech. like, no, dude, do not do that.
No,
but he's just a kid.
It's gonna be interesting how by the end of the season, how his character's gonna go. But his counselor, I definitely know on his lunch breaks, he smokes. Definitely, for sure.
Definitely. He's
the way
so
he talks,
chill, bro.
Yes, like the way they're like, yo, Bruno, are you sitting? And I'm like, I love the actor expression, because he did, like, in his head, I can imagine like him say, bitch, what? I ain't sitting already. But he's like, yeah. He's like, good. Are you sitting though? And I'm like, I was just laughing. Like, if he asked the third time, I would have asked his counselor, like, yo, my dude, what the hell is going wrong with you? But the scene with both actors was handled well. The comedy, the scenes, the dialogue was well done. So I was very pleased that it didn't feel forced or too overflowing with him trying to force him to go to Caltech. And I love how Bruno said, like, yo, can I think it over? Because the counselor has to understand this is a big decision. And from what we know, the one thing I have to say, who takes care of the deli when the kid is at home, at school? Because we don't know other than who takes care of this deli. Because when we've seen him, he's the one that's sitting at the register. Because that makes me just question, like, who's taking care of the deli? Is it an uncle, a cousin that's there?
Yeah, I don't know. Someone works the day shift. He works the night shift, I guess, after school, I guess.
Who knows?
Yeah. But Kamran shows up, pulls up in the Porsche. Kamala sees him. She's walking towards him. After Nakia gives her the earrings, you can see that she put on a little bit of makeup. And Bruno stops her. And then, of course, you know, she's just trying to get to the guy. And she's trying to be nice to Bruno. I'm like, Bruno, run. This is not the time. She'll want you when she's like 36. Right now, now she wants the dude with the Porsche. It's true.
And in 20 years,
he's too nice, and girls that age don't want nice guys, bro. It's not real life. So it's like, yeah, when she's 36, like, she'll want you then, bro. Go to Caltech.
Yeah. Then you'll have the money to be able to, you know.
Still, no matter if my mom told me, like, hey, Kamran, make friends with this chick in this school. Her name is Kamala, but also let her drive your Porsche. I would have been like, yo, mom, no problem. I'll make friends with her, but she ain't driving my Porsche. I'll be like, nah, I don't care if you buy me a new car, but she ain't driving my Porsche. And you telling me that I just heard this last night? Her friend Bruno just literally snitched on her, saying that she failed her driving test and she hit the back of the instructor's car. She
almost hit a taxi.
And it's like, and I work come, I was just laughing during the drive, like, oh, you're good, it's okay. And girls just literally just like, yeah, I'm on a date with Kamran, yeah. And I'm like,
I'd have been like, look at the road, please.
Thank you. I'll be like, don't stare at me, look at the road, stop at the light, stay in one lane, because girl was going this way. I'm like, no, I'm sorry, no. I don't care how good looking I am. I don't care how my mom tells me to grab the girl, snitch on her or whatever. I'm like, no, she ain't driving no Porsche, no Dodge, nothing. Nope. Girl could drive a like a Honda like a Honda Camry or a basic car or Honda Civic. I don't care. Drive that, but not my Porsche.
Nah.
No, straight up.
Not happening.
Yeah, but we learn later on why he's trying so hard to impress her. You know, they go to the restaurant and, you know, they're bonding over Bollywood films and their favorite actors and stuff. And I love how they mention one of Kingo's characters in his movies and how both of their parents are in love with Kingo in his movies. I thought that was fucking hilarious. That was a great way to tie those two things together. But go ahead, Vash.
I was gonna say that the brother just let the slide story being saying they're cousins. Like, yeah, you know, this is my cousin, you know, from our family and everything. And the brother and his fiance, his future wife, was just like, yeah, nice to meet you, my man. Like, welcome.
Yeah,
like,
I think she knows.
Oh yeah,
I think she knows.
Oh, the brother was just going along with it, but like it was just funny how they went along with it. It's just going along, but it was good.
You know, I don't think the
I
brother
don't
went
think the
along
brother
with
kno-
it.
I don't think
he
the brother
knows.
Because then he said, "I remember you." Like
Also,
he's having a moment.
also, so you think his wife knew, but the brother was just stupid? Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I don't think I think he actually believed the bullshit story.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, when she saw it, she was like, "Oh no, Kamala's on a date. She's just, you know, she's not gonna say anything."
Yeah.
Smart. Okay, I
So,
totally
yeah,
did not see that then.
he was like, you know what? I do remember you. And I was like, what? Like, and he does it so late. Like, he doesn't do it like right after it. It's like he waits and they've been talking for a little bit. And then he's like, oh, yeah. Like, some memory just flashed in his head. Like, I do remember you. And it's like, bro, there's no way. There's no way you
Literally
bought
no.
this. No way you bought this.
Yeah, but I love all of these moments. Again, these very like high school coming of age moments. They're sticking to the tone, and I really really like it. Like it's light and fun. Moon Knight was pretty dark. There were some really grim moments, and now we're getting something light and fun. Like I really
Mhm.
really really enjoying this. We cut to the dinner scene, and this is where the tone shifts a little bit. Right, we get the, you know, the partition stories, and then just learning about how difficult it was during that time in the 40s in India, being split up between Pakistan and India, and just listening to
Beautiful.
all of these stories, getting again more of that culture. So that was something that I really really enjoyed. Like, what about you guys?
Yeah, like I said, I'm loving that they are doing it and they are doing it in the right way. They're not shying away from a lot of stuff. They are like still, they're still pulling back a little bit because this is a kid show, but they are definitely diving into a lot of things that, needs to be talked about and should be talked about is because they're diving into their culture. So they should talk about all of it. And I appreciate that. I applaud Marvel for doing that. And you know what I'm saying? Not giving us just, backstory for everything else and then not certain cultures and stuff like that. So I do appreciate that and I applaud it.
I love how what Steve just said, that I love how true to our history there was in the show as well, because 95% of what they spoke in Identity Table is all true. The only thing is about of their grandmother following the stars. Sorry, of the great grandmother about her following the stars. That's the only thing that was not true, because powers that exist in our world that we know of don't exist. So, but other than that, I love how the brother said every person the, that's a Palestine has a story of the partition, and none of them are good, which is very sad and very true.
A lot of
So
people died, man.
a lot
Mhm.
of people. So I love how the brother just kept it real, and I love how the mom just wanted to cut up the story already. She said, like, "Hey, this is not about the partition. This is for us to celebrate my son and his fiance to get married and everything." And that's so true to a family when when uh when somebody is very connected to said story, they don't need to talk about that no more because they already lived through it. They have
Mhm.
they have heard it from families, mothers, cousins, aunties, and everything. So she understands that her husband wants to explain it to his son, fiance, for her to understand their history. But the mom is just like, hey, I'm over it. Can we just go to something else? So I love the conversation between the family because it's very real. If you can understand any type of any type of history or lore of your own family or your own culture is very real to that. So that's very beautiful to see on screen.
Yeah, and as they're talking about that story, Kamala gets a vision. Like the bangle activates, and she sees this vision, and so
Mhm,
she sees Najma, which is Kamran's mother, right?
mhm,
And we also hear this train in the background, but we don't see it, right? That's something that we learn just a little bit more about in episode 3. And then if she pretty much passes out, they're trying to wake her back up, and then she goes upstairs and gets on a FaceTime with her grandmother, just trying to get information about the bangles, right? And she's like,
mhm.
I shouldn't say anything. I've said enough. If I say anything more, if your mother finds out, she'll lose it, right? So
Yeah.
I love the mystery surrounding this. I love that episode by episode we're getting more of like why her mother is so overprotective, and what the history is with her mother and her grandmother. So I love that we're getting more and more of this story. It's really really good.
Mhm.
I can't wait
Um,
for us. I can't wait for us to talk about it in episode 3 because I have theories and comments about that since we see more about the grandma um, seeing about the train. So if the grandma saw it, if Kamala saw it, the mom has to have seen it.
I
mhm.
mean, I
That's
think I then why didn't she say anything?
Because she's being overprotective and
correct.
just doesn't
She's
want
being
to.
overprotective because remember, she doesn't know that her daughter has a bangle or been wearing it.
True.
And remember how in episode 3, I don't want to jump too much ahead, but saying remember when the mom said this is why I came to America to get away from everything. Probably that's her way to get her away from the train stuff about her grandmother, everything that about the history of her family being betrayed because of her grandmother and everything. But I will dive more into that once we're in the discussion of episode 3.
Yeah. And Sam, I disagree. I think she just told Kamala that it was junk so that she wouldn't look at it, so
Mm-hmm.
she wouldn't think about
Yep.
it. Like, my question would be, if you know what it is, why not lock it away yourself? That would be my only question that I have for Kamala's mother. Why not take it and lock it up somewhere? But I'm sure we'll learn more about that as the episodes go along, because as we find out at the end of episode 3, they might be taking a trip. So we'll see what happens there. So
Mhm,
we cut to the festival real quick, and this is where Nakia is pretty much trying to get votes, trying to get onto the council. And I thought this was really really cool, getting to see the different cliques in between in the Pakistani world, right? Like I love that you have the Illumin-Aunties. I thought that was fucking hilarious, that we have
mhm,
all of these gossiping aunties within the family that know all of the family gossip. Thought that was hilarious. The all of the different ones. I thought that was really cool. Like, what did you think about the festival scene, especially when Naki is pretty much guilt tripping Kamala's dad into voting for her instead of his best friend?
That is crown business. That she knows the way of a board. That's literally know how to manipulate people, and you're getting the guiltness of your best friend's father. Literally say, hey, are you really gonna do this to your daughter's best friend, the one that you're supposed to support? Like, I get it, he's your friend, but I'm your daughter's best friend. Are you really gonna abandon me? Like his expression, the actor's expression, there's such a fantasy. Like the way he looked at her, feels like, you know, can't say shit to you, but you know what? You got my vote. I can't say anything. You put my daughter in this mix. All right then.
Are
Like
you really gonna deny the futures of two young women?
mhm.
exactly.
So it's a future politician in the making. Like,
Yes.
Facts.
Girl learn. And it was just beautiful what it like girl knew. Girl knew
Yo,
and
Nakia for president, bro.
yes.
real.
Girl will do a lot of changes in matter of seconds. And towards James' comment, the Illuminati's, the Illumin-Aunties was
Illuminati.
fantastic.
Yeah.
From what I saw, I think I saw an article last week saying that um the actress of Kamala, she came up with the idea with the writer. They worked with the idea
Nice.
to try to nod to the actual Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, to the actual Illuminati. So from where I read, I don't forgot which website or source was it, but it was really dope to see those puns and the jokes and the art style of the logos of each little group out there. So
Mhm.
it was really nice to see as well. It shows of how much graphic design they put in the show with the text bubbles, with the wording of the people, the names and everything. Really well done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
again, the production work is really, really good on the show. What were you gonna say,
Mhm.
Steve?
I was about to say it's more towards the content creation of her as well. The bubbles and things like that look like content creator type things and stuff like that as well. So I feel like that fits the theme of the show as well when they do
Definitely.
that. I missed it.
No, no, Steve, it's just Sam comment. It just got me cracking up because it's
Oh,
Yeah,
true.
Sam's last two comments hilarious.
I gotta check it.
It is the aunties. The Illumin-Aunties will likely do more damage, at least know what against to do
Mhm.
towards Wanda is going through instead of Mr. Fantastic, which is
Yeah,
very true.
they probably would. They'd be like, I know your pain.
Yeah,
And
hopefully
Black
616's Reed Richards is a lot better at his job.
I still hope that is John Krasinski too.
Me too. I still hope so.
keep
Yeah, agreed.
I hope so. Just don't.
just
But
don't do that.
small tangent, but it's like since I heard Iman talk about how like the MCU can't be 616, I can't get it out of my head. It's like
Same.
she's so right. The main comic book universe is 616. We know that the comic book universe exists within the multiverse. So the MCU can't be 616. I'm sorry, Feige. I'm with Iman. It can't be 616. It's completely different from the main comic book storyline. I'm sorry.
So,
I mean-
quick thing to add towards your tangent. So, Young Justice, the writers have said that Young Justice is not Earth Prime. It's not Earth One. Young
Yeah, it
Justice,
can't
I
be.
think is Young Justice. I think is Earth 63 or Earth 83, something like that. But I know it's one of those numbers. It's been a while since I read the article, but they have said that they have taken inspiration from comic sources of Earth Prime and other storylines from others comic book stories, and they have made it into their own Earth where they could intertwine Dark Side, Vandal Savage storylines that has been going on in season 4, Wally West disappearance and him not coming back and etc. So that's why all these storylines have been working for them because they have technically made their own Earth and their own character storylines that have worked. Where Artemis and Wally has a relationship, it doesn't also like that happen in Earth Prime. So that's why I love Young Justice, because even if you don't like a storyline that they do, it doesn't compare to Earth Prime because it's not the same.
It's different.
So with the MCU, I forgot our late John Schnapp have said himself that the MCU, he has agreed and disagreed with some of the stuff they have done, but he has always said those are adaptations. These are not the 616 universe. This is what they're adapting to the story. He did not agree with some of the stuff from Civil War and other movies, but it's because those are just adaptations towards the comic book sources. And he has said that's the same thing I feel. Even James said it, and even Iman, who's a fan and also part of the MCU. Yes, that is her boss. Kevin Feige is her boss. He's the one that pays the bills for her. But guess what? I'm on the same boat. You came out with a source of a book years ago, and you call it Earth 1999. I don't know how many nines, but at the end, you did not call it. But the thing to debunk that, Earth 838, they call your Earth 616. They haven't officially established. Once maybe Kang or maybe in Loki season 2, once we find out if our Earth is actually 616,
I mean,
even though
that was confirmed in Loki.
it was
The
because
TVA,
Loki,
the
one we
TVA
know,
confirmed.
is 616.
The TVA confirmed that the MCU is 616,
But I don't.
and then
I
it's
still-
been confirmed in other things. I'm sorry, Kevin Feige's just
I
wrong.
still don't see it.
It creates a plot hole because you've introduced that the comic universes are also a part of the multiverse. So then you're telling me there's two different 616s. It doesn't make sense. So he's essentially created a plot hole, right? So it's like I'm with him on, but I digress. Let's move on. Let's get to the DODC scene. I love this. This agent, I can't remember his name right now. He's such a fucking douchebag. The actor does such a good job of playing this guy, but he's questioning Zoe Zimmer. It's like, yeah, I'm such a huge fan. Like, you went to Avengers Con? That was so cool. And then you know, he brings up pretty much pretty much saying that Kamala was trying to kill her.
Yeah.
like dude, what? Like, this dude is like, I don't know if he's overly paranoid or if he has a right to be. Like, what did you guys think about the interrogation sequence?
I like it. He's doing the same thing he did in Spider-Man, how he did Peter Parker and Mary Jane, MJ, and he did them the same way. So he's putting words in their head, putting thoughts in their heads, and I mean that's what his job is, man. So I think he's doing a good job of playing the confident, cocky, douchebaggy, detective or whatever he is. You know what I'm saying? So I like it. I like the scene. I like the fact that he's doing that because you need a character to hate. I mean, and that's what his job is. His
Agent
job is
Cleary.
Agent Cleary. So you need that. You
Weird
need
name.
that.
Agent, that's weird choice. Sorry,
Yeah.
it just threw me off. I'm like, what? Agent Cleary? Weird.
And yeah, like you just need a character that, like, everybody has those characters that you just hate, and he's doing his job. He's doing a good job of acting and making you like be like, this guy's a slime bag. I'm starting not to like him and stuff like that. And then watch 5 or 6 movies or TV shows from now, he's gonna be a good character and everybody's gonna like him. You know what I'm saying? So something to change. But right now it's just like, ah.
It's all coming from a good place, right? Like, he is a human amongst humans in this agency trying to police enhanced beings, right? Like, we know not everyone that's enhanced are good people. So he has to treat everyone the same in order to find out what their true motives are. So he is doing a good job, but it's just like, he's such a douche when he does it too. You know, you can be thorough without being an asshole, but I think that's what it's played up to be, right? The same thing with his partner. She's also an asshole. It's like, I think it's just played up for the comedy, and I think it's fucking hilarious, but they are trying to do something good. It may not be, they may not be that great, but they're trying to do something good. In this world of superheroes, they're trying to do something.
So with Agent Cleary, I think he's also gonna relate because he is also, I think, Muslim, by the way he told her, by the way he told his partner, hey, please treat mosque and place you go to with respect. So I think this is also going to be something that he relates to.
Can't wait to talk
I
about
wonder I wonder if he's going to be in episode 4, 5, and 6 of how he could help Miss Marvel. It'd be interesting. And 2, can I get Agent Wu back instead? As much as that, I just gave a good reasoning for his character for Agent Clearly. Can I get Agent Wu back though? Because I prefer him. I'm going to state that.
Yeah, I would love him, but I like this guy. He's doing a really good job with what he's given. You have to have, like Steve said, the guy that you just don't like, even though he's doing his job, you just don't really like him. But Vash, that part of the scene that you just brought up, like him trying to tell his partner to be respectful when you go to the mosque, because the FBI are already watching them. Now, this was really powerful and fucked up, because it's like, after 9/11, they're just looking, the FBI are just looking at everyone Muslim. Everyone. It doesn't matter their intentions, the FBI is just watching them to see what's gonna happen. So it's just like, it's so fucked up. And I'm really glad that the MCU didn't shy away from that. And I love that they brought it into this story, because they could have left it out. Other storytellers wouldn't talk about it, right? I honestly can't even tell you of another show or movie that even brings it up, unless it's like a movie that's about terrorism, right? And then they're investigating everyone, and then of course there's innocent people and not innocent people. But I thought it was really important for them to bring that in. What about you guys?
It was beautiful and impactful, because even the next scene, I believe it was the next scene right after, his partner went inside to the same mosque that Aga Kamala and Aga Nakia are there, and the last comment, not the priest, but the person in charge.
That was in episode 3.
Oh, it was an episode. Oh, my apologies. I'm jumping ahead.
You good?
Steve, go ahead. Mr. Mike.
Once again, it's just more things that they needed to show, because they're doing a deep dive into this character and this character's culture and things that's going on with them. So these are topics that need to be addressed, that need to be talked about, and like you said, they're not being talked about in anything else. So Marvel is just being first and going out on a limb and just being like, we're going to talk about it. If nobody else is going to talk about it, we're going to address it. And I appreciate them just doing little things like this they're little things to us, but they're probably huge for that culture.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just showing that. And I think that that's something that's needed. And every time they do any of these like different cultures and things like that with Shang-Chi, we got to see a different limelight and a big spotlight on different things in their culture. And with this, we're seeing a different thing in their culture. And I'm really saying bravo to Marvel for just going out on a limb and doing things that other people wouldn't do.
Yeah, facts, man. And then we cut back to the festival, and Kamala is talking to the Illumin-Aunties, just trying to get information, because again, they know all of the family gossip, right? And she's getting all of this information. Oh yeah, I heard she killed someone. Everything she touches gets cursed. It's like, so all of these stories sound ridiculous, but you have to know that they come from some source of truth. Right?
Yeah.
Like, these are stories that were passed down to a bunch of different people, and things get muddied along the way. But there are some truths throughout all of this. So I thought that was really, really interesting. And then we get this scene.
Yeah,
I was saying it's like a game of telephone.
Yeah.
Thank you, Steve. I was trying to figure out what's the name of the game, and I was like, actually, guys, and that's what it reminded me of when the aunties kept saying it. Like James just said, some of that information has to be truth. Maybe she did kill somebody, but it wasn't somebody, like a good person. Maybe it was one of the people we met in episode 3. Maybe what the mother is saying that she betrayed us. Maybe they're the ones that betrayed her. So stuff like that is what I like notice, because it's like the game that Steve brought up, telephone. When you tell one person, by the time it goes 10 times around, the same thing you told that first person is not the same thing you heard. Somehow it changes so wild. You'll be like, I didn't even say that shit. But I love how those aunties said that, because it's very true. It really brings you out to the idea of rumors and gossip are spread for that reason. Because had the rumors, gossip, and legends, each of them have a different meaning, but they all stand from the same stem. They all came from somewhere and by someone. So that's the beautiful thing about any of those 3, because they all mean the same. Legends, rumors, and gossip are similar. So I love what those aunties kept eavesdropping by one another and kept adding a whole different story about her grandmother. So I love that.
Yeah, there's a lot of it that sounds crazy, but there's some source of truth. And I like that you brought that up, because I forgot to mention something in the beginning where how stories change completely once it goes from one person to the other. Zoe, when she was telling the story of how she got saved, she was telling them a bunch of dumb shit. Like, none of this happened. She was like, she was engulfed in this white light and all of this other shit. I'm like, what? None of that happened, bro.
The way girl made it sound like did he get saved by Jesus? Because the way you making it sound is like girl got rebirthed or like reincarnated, and you're not even Muslim. And so it's like, girls, like, what are you talking about? Like, white light? Are you Jesus?
Yeah, I mean, she's just making the story sound good for her 500,000 followers, which is ridiculous for a 16-year-old in high school. You can imagine the ego on this chick. But
yeah.
But continuing on with the rest of the episode, we cut to this boy inside of this tower, just trying to take a picture. His phone slips. He tries to grab it and he falls out of the window. And this is Kamala's big hero moment, where she just springs into action because she knows that she has to. And even though she's on the roof, she's scared, going from platform to platform. She's trying to calm the kid down at the same time. Like, tell me one about like your favorite things. What do you like to eat? Ice cream on pizza. What the fuck? I say let the kid fall. He's a monster.
I say let the kid fall. That is the worst thing that I've heard since cheese on pancakes. It's
facts.
It is
facts.
Great ice cream on pizza. You deserve everything that's coming to you. Like, do you think the flames cool down? Do you like no? Ice cream on pizza is terrible. terrible. But
That's a great one, Steve. You know what? That should be the next shirt. Maybe that's the only way I could convince James to make a shirt of the C4's merch.
Oh my god.
Ice cream on pizza or cheese on pancakes. Right there, the next merch.
That's
No.
great anime lately merch. There you go.
you do it over there.
Oh, it happened here. It should
Oh
work.
no, nah, it's okay.
It's okay. I wouldn't want to take that shot from you. It's your baby. You got this.
Oh my god, Steve got me grinning right here. My nipples, my cheeks are hurting. Woo! But I'm on the same boat, James. Not because of ice cream and pizza. Boy literally went on the edge of a freaking bell tower for you to take a picture. I'm sorry. Fuck them kids. I'm sorry. I'm gonna just be
Fuck
straight
them
up.
kids.
I'm gonna be like, hey, right now, fuck them kids. Yo,
Bro.
he chose. I'm gonna use a line that it was saying. Literally, he chose to die. Let them fall. Just die. Literally. He literally went and leaned more. Like, right here's the thing. You literally went
It's
like this.
called Darwinism, my friends.
Like,
Like, maybe get a selfie stick. That's what they made for. Like, if you wanna get a good angle, like get a tripod, a selfie stick. I don't know, long arms. You literally cost yourself to
what
death.
flavor ice cream?
Yo, I was thinking that too when I saw it. I'm like, is it strawberry? Is it-
Pineapple ice cream on pizza?
I
would
didn't
beat
even
you.
think about what flavor ice cream. I was just like,
I
this is
will-
just gross. But yeah, what flavor ice cream? What do you put on pizza?
Pineapple flavored ice cream on pizza. I will beat
Stop.
you to death.
Stop.
I will beat
Just,
you to
just
death.
stop.
Come on, tweet that right now on the C4's account. What do you
Mm.
eat? A pineapple ice cream pizza.
Oh no. Stop. Full stop.
Hell, what even flavored pizza? What toppings are going on the pizza? Oh my, it's all wrong. It's all wrong. Could you imagine Rocky Road with supreme pizza? Oh my god,
Stop.
I'd kill you.
Stop, bro.
Like,
Yo, that is literally asking to go to the bathroom. Like, that's
Diarrhea
literally-
waiting to happen.
That's literally you're asking for your protein and carbs and your sweet tooth. And
Now,
asking-
is he just dropping ice cream on top of it? Is he folding
Or
the
do
pizza
you
and dipping into the ice cream?
oh yeah, he's like making a pizza burrito. and then
Pizza
the
burrito.
inside is ice cream. Oh, that
do you let the ice cream melt because of
oh,
the
it's gonna
hotness
melt.
of the
God.
pizza?
It's gonna melt.
Just saying, James, this is a perfect clip for TikTok. All right, guys, right here. We're TikTok famous about food.
Nah,
Tell
I'm
us,
good.
guys.
I'm good. So back to the scene. So she's trying to use the hard light, trying to get closer to the kid, and as he falls, again, this is the hero moment where instinct takes over everything. She trusts herself, and then she just goes and catches him, right?
Mhm.
Incredible scene. I love the camera work, love the VFX during this scene. I love that she catches him, and everyone's like clapping for her, everyone's praising her. And I love Kamala. She's such a nerd, right? Like she jumps, she does the superhero landing, which I fucking loved. Like I jumped out of my chair when I saw that. And in her mind, she's just seeing all of the tweets and all of the likes and the TikToks about her bravery and like hashtag ice cream on pizza. Like she's such a fucking nerd, right? And then she gets another vision of Najma, right? And this time we see the train. Right? So this is something really cool. And then she loses grasp of her powers, drops the kid, and then you can see her trying to shoot out hard light, trying to grab the kid. He lands on a car, hurts his ankle. Don't know how he did that. I was looking at it. I watched it like 3 times. I'm like, Cap, I think you're okay. I think you're being over dramatic, but
I think that was just the writing to give
you
him
could have
some pain or
died,
something.
and all you have is some ankle pain. Stop complaining.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like that's just a
Take it
choice
out.
of writing just to make us feel bad for the boy. I'm like, I zoomed in. I literally went to Adobe just to zoom in on the shot just to see how he got hurt. No matter how zoom in I saw, I didn't see the hurt pain.
And
So
someone was
maybe-
like, why would she do that? You thought she did it on purpose? I hate humans. I really do.
She should have just made her giant hand and squashed his ass. Like Susie said, like, why? Why would you think that I would do that on purpose?
fuck them kids. That's all.
Got
But
it.
anyways, so she's running away, gets into this alley, and then we see a drone. So it's like the DODC confiscated the drones from Far From Home, and is now using them for their own efforts and
Mhm.
using it trying to catch Kamala. I thought this was really cool. She makes a hard light fist and completely destroys one, and then she
Mhm.
makes those platforms, runs over all of them, and then we see one of them use a sonic cannon, which we saw from Far From Home, that the sonic cannons were on the drone, so now they've made them into handheld weapons. I thought that was really cool, and then we see it completely destroy her hard light platform. Thought that was interesting as well. It'll be
Mhm.
cool to see how, like, as her powers grow and evolve, if it'll even work later on in the future. And then who shows up? Kamran, right? Him, his mom in the back of the Porsche, literally the woman that she saw in a vision just a couple minutes ago. Then the episode ends. I thought this was a really, really great ending to the
Mhm.
episode. It gives you all of this great build up. It gives you some questions that you need answers. Gives you the cliffhanger, and then you gotta wait until next week. What did you guys think about the ending? I thought it was really cool.
I liked it. And then once again, the only thing I know of Miss Marvel is from the video game. So the drones and everything like that fits right into gameplay. Things that you saw in the game with the drones kind of trying to chase her down and attack her, and she's doing stuff. So I thought that was really cool. I didn't even think about the fact that those were the drones from Far From Home. So good eye on that. But like I love that. I love that still we're still getting some of the things that I'm familiar with. So I'm like, oh, okay, this is cool. We get the drones, we get them trying to chase her down. We're trying to see how she reacts with that and stuff like that. And I really like that chase sequence. And then the fact that so my theory for episode 2 was, oh, okay, so she just saw this lady in this vision. So I immediately was like, she saw her see her type situation and she's like, I'm gonna go get her type stuff. So that's what I was thinking, like what happened with that. That was my theory. And then of course we go on to episode 3.
That just fucked me up in the head for a second, Steve. I'm like, wait, she saw her because she saw her, and then they
She
both saw each
saw
other. I'm like,
her,
hold, that just fucked me up in the head.
yeah,
But it's
she saw
true.
her see her. So I saw you looking at me type.
Oh,
Yeah, maybe that sounds better.
overall, that was so 4-4 breaking because it was just perfect timing that the mom literally just came here and literally just sat in the back. Like, that's literally a super villain. Like, the way she just saw and smiled, like, hello, Kamala. I was here waiting for you. I'm like,
Mhm.
was you waiting down the block or something? Like, was you waiting for just the right opportunity? And two, like, once I saw that walk and once I remember Cameron and the mom, I knew from the comics she's gonna play the villain. But it reminded me a bit like Kingpin from Daredevil season 1, that with the light in the shadow towards the mom, and when the mom leaned over, we see the bit of light. That's the same thing we saw with Kingpin, I think, in Daredevil season 1, I think in episode 4 or 3. That's how Kingpin introduced himself to the other henchmen. He was in dark shadow in the corner of the car, and he leaned forward and then got some light. So I just love that. If that was a homage to the show of Kingpin, who knows? But that's just me seeing stuff, camera work and production work. But it was beautiful shot.
Yeah, great end to the episode. And then let's jump into episode 3. I've been waiting to talk about this episode. This episode was just so good. We were talking about it behind the scenes. Within the first 3 minutes, they've just thrown out so many like crazy Easter eggs and bits of knowledge from the Marvel universe and the MCU universe. So we open up with the title card. It's British occupied India in 1942, and the first thing that we see are what we will come to know as the clandestines, looking at this blue hand with the bangle on it, right? And I'm
Mhm.
like, that's a fucking Kree, bro. That is a Kree alien that they're taking the bangle off, right? And then they mention that there's two of them. That there's only one here. So there's some British person from the British Army that has the other bangle somewhere. I thought this
Mhm.
was really cool. This is a very cool Easter egg to the negabands that Marvel had in the comics, which is very different, obviously, than what we have in the MCU. So I thought that was really, really fucking cool. And then we get this overhead shot of the 10 rings on the floor. So it's like, with all of this lore, I'm thinking this is some kind of like ancient Kree temple that was like located in India. And it's like, are they telling us that the 10 rings was made from ancient Kree tech as well as the bangles? Because we see the symbols in this temple, we see the Kree with the bangle. Is that what we're telling us? Because after Shang-Chi, I was thinking that the 10 rings was like celestial tech. Some of the symbols just matched up a lot with what we saw in Eternals. But with this, are they telling us that it's all Kree tech? Because we know that Phase 4 going into Phase 5 is all about Secret Wars. It is clearly heading to fucking Secret Wars. I think it's pretty clear that the 10 rings could be Kree related. What about you guys?
So, Steve, if you don't mind, I'll go first real quick. With this, I 100% agree that they're aliens. I don't know about Kree. Just because we see a blue dude there, don't mean that they're from all of the Kree of the 10 rings. I would agree that the 10 rings are aliens from what we remember in the Shang-Chi, that when I forgot thing was Shang-Chi's auntie was giving him the lesson about the history and where they're from in a whole pocket dimension. And that's how the mom came from and everything. They're all part alien. Just like our boy Peter Quill, where he's half alien, half human, and just like Shang-Chi, half human and the half alien. The same thing.
Yeah, but half alien from another dimension.
Correct. And the same to Kamala. We're seeing that they're Candelarin, I think I'm pronouncing right?
Clandestine.
So are Clandestine the same people of the 10 rings of where they're from? That's a question. Because it seems like from the bangle and from the 10 rings, the wording could be similar. They look very similar tech and very, very similar writing. So could it be from the same alien species, just different tribes? Who knows?
I'd say no, because that would make Shang-Chi half Djinn, and he's not. That would also make his aunt half Djinn.
That's why I said probably different tribes.
I don't think they're from the same dimension.
I think they are. That's
because the 10 rings don't necessarily come from that dimension.
The 10 rings does come from an alien species, and they come from alien tech, and with the bangle, those are also alien tech. But
yeah, I'm agreeing there. I'm just focusing on the part where I don't think that it has anything to do with the Shang-Chi other dimension, and where these things came from. I think they're completely separate dimensions.
At the moment, I think they are, but we're gonna see the next 3 episodes to prove if I'm right or wrong.
Yeah, because like I personally don't see any correlation between like where Shang-Chi's on dimension is from and the 10 rings and the bangles. I think the Djinns are from a completely different other universe. I think if they were from the same universe, I think there would have been some reference already, but we don't know. There's still so much for us to learn, especially in episode 4, where we're going to see the grandmother. There's a lot we're going to learn, so there's a lot to speculate, there's a lot to go on here. But Steve, chime in. Like, what did you think about this? Like, where do you land on like where like this tech comes from?
I was about to say I'm agrees with Vash. I do think that they're in the same universe. I do think that this is alien tech as well. The whole thing with Shang-Chi, though, I believe that Shang-Chi is a full-blooded, so his race or whatever is different than how Kamala. I think Kamala is a half-breed, so that would change the different aspects, and that's why I think we'll see Kamala age up, things like that, where she won't seem immortal, and you know what I'm saying, where I feel like once they re-show her grandmother, she's going to look the same and things like that, because of that's what her species is, or from that dimension of that's how they are, they don't age. So I feel like that'll be the reason why Shang-Chi will quote unquote look the same for a little while and things like that, whereas Kamala will age up.
I mean, he's also half. Remember, Wenwu's Chinese. He's not from the other dimension.
Oh, well, then if that's the case, then Shang-Chi will probably age up as well.
What will keep Shang-Chi young is the Ten Rings, much like when Wu, it kept him
Yeah.
the same age for as long as he wore them. So
Mhm.
that's how Shang-Chi will like not age. But yeah, to me it's not correlative. Like, and it could be because like I'm so focused on like, since Kamala's like comic origins come from Kree, like this is like the MCU's way of bringing that all together. And again, especially with the direction that they're going, like we're clearly headed towards the Kree Skrull War. We're gonna get more of that in the Marvels. It just seems to all go in that direction, and to me, just makes sense. Especially, and Vash, you're completely right. Just because we saw a giant blue alien doesn't mean that they're Kree. It doesn't mean that at all. There's a bunch of different types of aliens, but just like me, I think it was a Kree, and
Mhm.
I think like much like how in the comics they came to Earth to like experiment on humans, I think they had tech that they were using to unlock different abilities in humans.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
but we'll get more. We'll see, man. There's a lot of cool shit.
I
I'm more
think.
thoughts to add because it's very similar when the great grandma and those jinns were discussing. They said that they were banished. And usually, when you're banished from a place, you don't get banished for nothing good. So
Mhm.
that means you got banished for something bad or evil you
Well,
did.
it could be nothing good from their perspective because
Right.
That too.
there's
Correct.
stuff that's like people get banished for, and it's not even serious or anything like that, but it's serious within their beliefs and things like that. But
But the way, but I'm saying the way the mom is acting of Cameron that wants to go back and will do such an evil thing. And when even Cameron said that, hey, you got to get everyone out of here, they will kill these people even. So it shows that the mom will go above and beyond and like towards her goal. And from what we know, these jinns are at least 100 years old because they have said so. They're much
Well, they've
younger.
been in our dimension for 100
Yeah,
years.
they've
mhm.
been in our dimension for 100 years. I appreciate that, James, for the correction. And to prove to that is the possibility where they could be from the same dimension where Shang-Chi because they didn't ask questions about the Kree as well with the blue skin, blue skin alien. So they wasn't shocked. They just grabbed the bangle and everything. So I'm curious to see if we're gonna get a probably similar battle like Shang-Chi and Wu, father and son. Maybe we'll get Algar Kamala having one bangle, and then Cameron's mom will have the other bangle, and the both of them will fight at the end. That's meant there for episode 6 at the end finale.
Oh, so you think she'll find the other one?
Yeah,
It's like,
Hmm.
well, yeah, I can't get it from Kamala. Maybe I should keep looking for the other one. Very possible.
and
That's
and then
very
that's
interesting.
how we get like a similarity between Shang Chi and the father and son fighting, and then we have them episode 6 finale.
Yeah.
That's
Question
that
for you
is
guys: do you think each band does the same thing? Do you think that they're extensions of each
No,
other, or do you think each band does something different?
I think they do something different, and I think that if they're combined, they can do something
Mm,
crazier. So if you
yeah.
get both bands, it's something crazier, which I think Kamala gets both bands eventually. Maybe not at the
Oh
end of
God,
this
yes.
season, but but
I I I think she will give both bands, and I'm more in the middle where they each do like a different thing, but once they're together, they complete each other.
yeah,
And once her power, I mean, once they are both bangle, when she does the hand and everything, you see how it is very crystallized, into smaller pieces. When she has both bangle, it will be nice and solid.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
possible.
And I can maybe how the
The
platforms will
platforms
fall
will
in there
be nice and
because
solid.
Yeah,
JB
And
it's
did mention.
probably fractured because it's not complete.
Hmm.
correct.
Yeah, definitely possible. Yeah, man. I'm loving this shit. Again, you've seen how much we've talked about, and this is just the first 3 minutes. Like, there's so
Hmm.
much lore going on. But I love that we finally got to see Kamala's great grandmother. It was great to see her, and we know that they got separated. So she hasn't seen the other Jinn since 1942. That was the last time that they saw her. So we cut to the safe house, and Najma is telling Kamala all of these different things, talking about that they're from the Noor dimension, they're the clandestines, they're jinns, and we're just getting all of this crazy like fucking lore, and I'm like, this is it. This is what I want. Like, I love that we're getting so much lore in Miss Marvel, and we're only in the 3rd episode. Like, this is some great shit. So for those of you that don't know, I'll keep it pretty simple, but the Clandestines are pretty much just a group of extremely powerful, superpowered beings from another dimension. That's all you need to know, because I'm sure they're going to make it very different for the MCU, so it doesn't make sense. Like, if you want to know more stuff about the comic versions, Google it, but that's all you need to know about this version.
I'd like to add for people in the comics also to know that one or more, we have had X-Men characters from there as well. So it's very OP characters from that dimension. We have had X-Men characters, we have Inhumans, and other species type of aliens. So if you really want to see some things that could be different from what you read, go check that out, because it's very interesting of how powerful they are.
I do think that a lot of this alien tech and alien things that's happening is preparing us not for Secret Wars, but for Secret Invasion. Secret Invasion, isn't that coming out in the next couple of months?
That's what I was saying. Like, the end of Phase 4 into 5, I think the main storyline for 5 is going to be Secret Wars. But yeah, definitely going into Secret Invasion right now, and then like the Kang stuff, like that's definitely all Phase 4 for sure.
Yeah, I think that's what we're tying into and we're getting ready for. And we might even get to see
Ms. Marvel.
Well, not even that. With Thor coming out, Thor has aliens and things like that. So we might get some little bits and pieces trickling in, because, you know what I'm saying, like just different things happening. We got Thor coming out, we got Secret Invasion, and then I'm not sure, the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special thing or whatever.
The holiday special, yeah.
Holiday special. There's a lot of different alien things coming out this year. So this is another reason to play into some of these alien and things of that nature.
Yeah, so Kamala leaves them, she goes over to Bruno's place, pretty much tells him everything that she found out, that she's half Djinn, learning more about her abilities. And then this is pretty much where she asks, like, Bruno, hey, you're smart. Do you know anything about, like, whatever the fuck she says, interdimensional travel? And just like, yeah, sure. I'll just look up on this paper by Dr. Solvik. I thought that was a really cool name drop, because we do know that he successfully opened up a bridge using the Space Stone in Avengers. So I thought that was a cool name drop.
And plus, also it adds to the research that Jane Foster did with him as well, and knowing that we're going to get Jane Foster in 2 weeks in their own movie, so it just brings that more information for people that know.
That only 2 weeks? That's in 2 weeks?
Yeah.
I need to buy my ticket.
Yeah, July 8th, bro.
I am slipping. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, but after that scene, this is where Vash was talking about before. We cut back to the mosque, and this is where Agent Cleary's partner shows up, and then she's like, yeah, we're here to investigate the enhanced being that's working on behalf of the mosque. Just like it completely just like insinuating that the mosque is pretty much collecting superheroes to do what? Like, what is she trying to insinuate, right? So that really pissed me off with the energy that she was trying to come in with. And then Nakia just comes in, shuts that shit down, and she's like, no, you're not searching anything. You're not looking at anything until you get a fucking warrant. Okay? I don't care what you want, get a warrant. I love Nakia, bro. Nakia for president. Let's go.
Like Steve said, she knows how to be a politician.
Politician in the making. It's coming.
Girl came in and said, ma'am, you cannot come into our building. You don't have a warrant, so please get out. And I love how boy in the back said, can you also please, the next time when you come back, please take off your shoes. Like, just perfectly manner said.
Loved it.
He didn't even get angry. He just said it with respect, but also a diss. And she was like, oh, okay, just walk away. I was like, yeah, take them shoes off.
Yeah, but again, I love that they're not shying away from this darker nature of what Muslims have to go through on a day-to-day basis. Like, this woman literally rolled up into the mosque and is like, hey, so I heard that you have a superhero terrorist. That's pretty much what she said without saying those words exactly. She's like, I heard you have a superhero terrorist. I need to search your place so I can see if you have any evidence to see if you're holding them. Like, what the fuck, bro? Like, what?
Like, get the fuck away. Like, Just that whole situation in that sequence, it just shows not even that she's just said that, but it's just like it just shows how kind of like embraces some of these characters in the Marvel universe is, and it's starting to get to that. It leads me to think of some of the Marvel things that we had where they wanted you're gonna have to show your identities, you're gonna have to reveal your identities, et cetera, et cetera. How Civil War was in the comics, and I feel like you can sense that because they're doing all this like straight up, like in your face, like I need to know who's in there. You know what I'm saying? I need to know who this person is and stuff like that. And I feel like that's coming soon as well, where they're going to be like, we need to know these superheroes' identities and things of that nature. And I feel like that's coming down the line soon.
Vash, what about you? What are your thoughts on this?
It reminds me of the Sokovia Accords. We haven't heard much of the implications of what they've been as an accord because after Thanos, curious to see if that's going to be brought up. I think that I wish that that has. Sorry, let me pause. I wish that has been brought up since Falcon and the Winter Soldier because that would have been a good time to bring up because we had Agent Madam Web. No, not Madam Web. What's the one? The chick that was trying to pull the strings.
Oh, I think Valerie is her name.
Yeah, Valor. Thank you. So I wish her character brought about the Sokovia Accords because that would have been useful information and to know that every person has to work under the government. That's why she wanted to bring Agent Agent USA, to bring him over and work for the government, not as a free person, as the red, white, and blue, but instead you were the black. And that's something I wish maybe we're gonna get more information of during the Thunderbolts. That would
Yeah,
be probably a good place to have that. Even though I'm curious to see, because you guys spoke a good, you guys spoke a good conversation about 2 weeks ago. The one thing I like to also add, you could just have him be the Red Hulk already, and you could just change the actor. Yes, it's gonna be very tough, but the Red Hulk could change his voice, could change his look. Just have somebody that looks very similar to him to play homage with, with of course, with respect in that way. So if you just have him as the Red Hulk, you don't have to change it back to normal because he will be the Red Hulk all the time. You don't have to give him any human like. If you do flashbacks, that's your choice. But it'd be a great way to just bring the Sokovia Accords because he's the one actually instated the Sokovia Accords. So if you have the Red Hulk with Thunderbolt Ross, it will be a perfect transition for it to ask about who's the heroes and who are the heroes behind the mask because that will also connect back to Spider-Man No Way Home.
yeah.
Connect the dots.
I definitely agree that we've been missing any information about the Sokovia Accords. Like the last time we heard anything about it was like Infinity War, right? Where it's pretty much Cap and everyone's on the run. Um, I don't think Falcon and Winter Soldier would have been a good place because, I mean, Falcon was already doing superhero work for the government, so there
Mhm.
wouldn't be anything to bring up. He's abiding by the Accords, right? Same thing with Captain America slash U.S. agent. He was working for the government already, so there wouldn't be anything to bring up because nobody was violating the Accords. But I do agree that it was such a big thing in Civil War, and we haven't, again, outside of Infinity War, we haven't really gotten anything that says like, oh, these people are working outside of the Accords, we need to stop them, right? After Endgame, the Avengers were seen as heroes again, and it's almost like the Accords don't fucking matter anymore or something. So it's like it's interesting. I would love to see Red Hulk. They could just do what they did with Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker, just do respeecher and just have the AI bot just recreate the actor's voice. I think that would be dope. I think that would be something really cool to say. I would love to see Red Hulk. I fucking love Red Hulk. And it would be great to, much like how they did in the comics, where it's like Red Hulk would cause destruction and it would be blamed on Bruce Banner and just going back and forth with that. I think that would be really, really cool.
Agreed. Like
Yeah.
I just can't wait to see what's come up next with him. And best of luck in those choices. The MCU Kevin Feige has hard choices in the past couple of years with Chadwick and with the actor with the number of Raw. So again, the best of luck. Those are not easy choices.
Yeah. So we cut back to Kamala at home. She's watching YouTube videos, TikTok videos of what happened in the last episode. And then Nakia comes up to her room and like she's really proud that she got voted in on the council. I thought that was something really cool. It shows how progressive that they're trying to be, that they, let a woman be on the council. I thought that was really, really cool. And this is also where we get this really cool interaction between Kamala and the leader of the mosque, like when we get to like the engagement party for her brother Amir and his fiance, where he tells her like where she was asking like how does this hero like prove that she is good, and he tells her like good is not a thing you are, it's what you do, right? It's what you do. I thought that was really, really cool. It kind of feels like her own like with great power comes great responsibility type moment. I thought that was a great callback to something like that. I thought that was really, really cool. And then Bruno left her a box. She opens the box and it's the mask that we see from the final costume. So when we did the first review, I was saying to myself, I think Bruno is going to make her entire costume, and we're seeing the pieces of that right now. I thought that was really, really cool. So Steve, tossing it to you first, like I was talking about Kamala being at home, Nakia getting the council position, and then just like Kamala talking to the leader of the mosque, trying to figure out what like she needs to do, like what her purpose is, because everyone was talking about how like this hero's a mess. Even her mom was talking about the fact that this superhero's mother should feel sad or whatever it is that she raised a girl like this. Like, what do you feel about that scene?
So we get those scenes a lot, as far as like the character is trying to be like, hey man, don't this superhero is not so bad. And then everybody around them is like, no, 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 she sucks or he sucks, you know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. So I like this scene, and it was kind of like, in a sense, it was cliche of as far as that in particular, as far as like you get those characters that, they the only ones that know the secret identity, and then everybody is bashing it. And it felt like, I heard you say something about Spider-Man, so I'm gonna go with Joe Jonah Jameson, and how he does Spider-Man, and he's sitting there talking to Peter Parker every day, and then he's like, "No, Spider-Man sucks," and blah blah blah, and that's kind of how she might feel in this situation, and she's like, what I'm saying, her mother needs to be ashamed and things like that. And then
Yeah.
she's just trying to get direction and trying to figure out what she needs to do, as far as like just to be better. She obviously is a fan of the Avengers, so she wants to be a better hero and things of that nature. So that's something that she's just really trying to get more information on, and it'll be, she obviously hasn't met an Avenger, so she can't, what I'm saying, ask them. So she's just going to the source, to our family, and just trying to figure out what she needs to do, to become better at what she does.
Yeah, because she's in this moment where like she wants to be a hero. She was given this opportunity, and this kid, he didn't die, but he got injured a little bit, right? Like she doesn't know what to do, and she's like you said, she's trying to find that guidance, trying to find out like how does she prove to everyone that she's good. And the Spider-Man reference was just like the leader of the mosque was telling her, good isn't something that you are, it's what you do, right?
Hmm.
It's so I thought that was really cool. It's the Uncle Ben moment, with great power comes great responsibility. I
Hmm.
love that. That's a cool, like, nice nod to her new journey of becoming a hero. I thought it was really cool.
There's a lot of Spider-Man references in this Marvel kind of Ms. Marvel. It kind of makes me feel, because like even with the training sequence that we talked about in episode 2,
Yeah,
and now with this like great power comes great responsibility type thing.
they're both in high school. It's hard not to see those similarities and make those references.
Yeah, I can't wait
Exactly,
till
it's
they.
part of the multiverse now. Just saying.
Yeah, and I mean, since you say multiverse, yeah, with great power comes great responsibility was said by Uncle Ben inside of the comic, which is the real 616. But go ahead.
But to add to that, like I just love how Aga Kamala was really asking to know because, like James said, she's just looking for guidance. Like she felt like the person that who speaks to everyone about hope, about next chances, is our people in the church, like the priest, the one that knows what it is, the whole righteous way. And once she asked him what is the of how to be good, And I love his response. But you know who loved the response more? Kamala herself, because she smiled, because she felt like she found her resolve, or she found her reasoning of why to continue trying to be a hero, of why she should at least try. And that smile shows that she found her answer. And I find that beautiful, because a lot of people, when they ask somebody some advice or some guidance, sometimes they don't always get what they're looking for. Sometimes they're disappointed. So to see Kamala smile, to see what she wanted was what she asked for, is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and then we cut to Bruno at his job at the deli. His dad, Kamala's dad, comes in looking for some sugary snacks that he doesn't want his wife to know about, and he sees that Bruno is looking up all of this, information on jinns and the folklore and all that stuff. So then he's translating it, reading it, and then we get the part of it that says that jinns go by a lot of different names, and they're seen as a lot of different things in different cultures. Some see them as genies that grant wishes. Some see them as demons, and I think that's going to be the parallels that we see, where the clandestines, the ones that we're looking at, they would be the embodiment of the demon jinns that they would be referring to, and Kamala would be the hero type of jinn, and then we're also seeing that from Kamran as well. I love that he has a mind of his own. He's not just stuck under his mother's wing, that he knows what she's doing is wrong. Yes, you want to get back home, but to do it at the expense of this young girl's life is absolutely ridiculous. So I do love that. Bruno also finally tells Kamala that he's going to Caltech, and you can tell that she's sad about it, but it's like, does she like Bruno like more than just a friend? Is she just sad because she's losing one of her best friends? Like, Steve, starting with you, like, what do you think that is? I think it's clear that Bruno likes her, but do you think that there's any part of her that likes Bruno?
I think so for story sakes, because I feel like eventually they get together or something. I'm not sure. I don't know about the comics, etc. But I'm assuming for story's sake, she likes him. But in my opinion, she doesn't like this guy. He's her friend, and she's really used to him being around and things like that. So him leaving is a bummer. And then maybe she'll feel like that's love, et cetera, right now in high school, but she doesn't know. And then maybe 24, 25 years old, she's like, oh, I really did love that guy. You know what I'm saying? But right now, she's just bummed out that he's gone and he's going to be gone away. And she's going to, for story's sake, she's going to be like, I love him. You know what I'm saying? But in reality, we know how this situation is. You're in the friend zone, but you're
Yeah.
leaving, and she cares about you in that sense. You know what I'm saying? And it's good that you're leaving, because if you stay around, you're going to be in the friend zone when you're 30. If you leave, now all of a sudden she realizes I was in love with you and all this other stuff. So good for you. Go to school.
Go to Caltech, Bruno.
Go.
Hey, yo, Bruno, as a man to man, I feel you. You care, you love the girl, or you like the girl, or you have a crush on the girl. But Caltech is your future, my man. You're gonna be the next Tony Stark. You can get all the woman you want, or the one type of pepper pots you can want. But for Kamala, I agree with Steve. She's losing her best friend, the person that knows about her powers. Yes, like James brought earlier, they have FaceTime. They can literally talk to each other. They have WhatsApp. They have, maybe by the time it's year 2025, maybe they have some type of Zoom phone call where instead of through a camera, you have some type of virtual person where you can actually speak to them.
They
So
do have
who
that.
knows? Yeah. So
Mhm.
it's year 2025 for them. So it's possibly made. It's called Caltech. So it's possibly you have that type of advanced technology. And with Kamala, her reaction does look like she likes him or has a crush on him. But at the same time, I feel like she's more upset that she's losing a friend. And right now, in this moment of crisis, that she even asks, "Why are you telling me this now? Why is it? Why did you wait?" Because she felt hurt that they're best friends, and being told later, that's a very cliche thing, but we feel like that when we're told by our own best friends, and you tell us things that we should have like been told at least a day ago, or when it happened the day of, but you find out weeks later, you're like, yo, bro, I thought we were close enough for you to do, you come and confine me. So i get where I get where Kamala's coming from.
Yeah, definitely. So let's cut to the wedding. I thought the wedding was amazing. I love that we took some
Beautiful.
time to just spend some time with his family and again experiencing the culture in a different way, getting to see what their weddings are like. I
Hmm.
love the conversation between the dad and Emir, where Emir was really, really nervous. He's like, I have $732 in my bank account and I'm about to get married to this woman, like, and you can just tell from that he's like he's
I felt
thinking,
that
what
pain.
do I offer her, like what am I bringing to this woman? And his father calms him like, you chose love, you chose family, and that was the right thing, and you're going to continue loving her and cherishing her, and that is the only thing that matters. And it calms him. And then we get to, that part of the ceremony where I like that they ask, like, do you take this person to be your husband or your wife, 3 times? And looking at the different ways that they said yes every time, it just shows their love, and it just shows a deeper connection. It feels like they've been together for a long time and they're finally getting married. Like, I
Hmm.
fucking love this.
Yeah.
I
I,
love the line he said to his son, that you're about to stand in front of God and your family commit to the love of your life. You are brave, son. You chose love and family. And that line is so powerful. The actor did such a great job to choose this. Like, I felt like if you're not Muslim, if you just have a father son relationship, you could relate to this, because this is something that any father and son, or son and mom, or daughter and mom, in any way you can relate to it. Because when you have a good head over your head and you're just doing the best you can, and that's what his son is doing. He got his master degrees and everything, and he doesn't have all the money, and right now the son is just thinking about one thing: how can he provide, how can he do the best he can at this moment for the person he loves, is choosing to be with him. I mean, yes, with him. And I can relate to that because I'm engaged to my partner myself, so I can understand where you're coming from, that knowing about money, knowing that what can you provide, future, kids, stuff like that. So all these things is his wisdom, because your father just told you that you are taking such a huge step. You're standing in front of God to commit to the love of your life. From there on, it's you and her all the way. And in this culture, like, you stay with one partner. So to see that is very beautiful and very impactful from a father son relationship. We don't really get that in the MCU as well. So I love how we really emphasize in this scene. It's very powerful. I love it. It's one of my favorites in this episode and with the series.
I loved it, and I loved the wedding. The part where I don't want to say pastor and it not be politically correct for this culture, but the pastor, I guess, when he's telling them, "Do you take so and so to be your wife?" And then they have that playful banter of, you know what I'm saying, over and over. I just thought that was cool. Just everything about that whole scene was just really cool. Um, just seeing their cultural, the way that they're organizing the wedding and everything like that, and the differences that they have in their culture and the uniqueness that they have in their culture that we don't have in ours. Um, just seeing that was just really dope as well. Um, Vash already hit the nail on the head with, the message and the words that from the father that we got. But like, just I love the my favorite part. I know it might be cheesy, but just seeing them like they are in love, but they're all still being playful and they're like having that banter and stuff like that. And I was just like, yeah, man, keep that part alive because that's super important. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
That you don't get dull and boring in your relationship. So I love that.
Yeah, I love
And
that scene so much.
I don't know, it was dope, but to see them, everyone sit down, it was just nice to see everyone not stand, hurting their heels. Just everyone just sit down. I don't know why, but I just thought of beautiful. Like, you know what? I'm actually doing it in my wedding when I have to just sit down. Like, why do we have to stand?
Yeah, I don't know. But so Kamran shows up after Bruno and Kamala are about to dance, and he comes to warn her, like, "Hey, my mom's coming, and she will fucking kill everyone. Like, we need to get everyone out
Mhm.
of here right now."
Mhm.
So she pulls the fire alarm, gets everyone out of the wedding, and it's like in the moment you're not really thinking about how much she just ruined like their wedding, but at the same time she just saved their lives. It's
Mhm.
that balancing act of doing what's right versus, you know, kind of ruining a very special moment for her brother and what will be her sister-in-law. So I thought that was cool. And then I thought Kamala held her own pretty well against these different jinns. You know, because she's using the hard light to like block, and like, you know, she uses one to like push to kick off of it so that she can get back away from them. Like, I thought that was really, really cool. We get into the kitchen, and every time I see someone hiding in the kitchen, I just instantly think of Jurassic Park for some reason. Like, I don't know why I always think of that, but I thought that was cool too, because she's obviously really scared, but she still has a hero in her. She has that fighting spirit, and she's doing what she's got to do. I really like this sequence. Steve, starting with you, like, what did you think about that part of the wedding sequence where she was fighting the jinns?
Oh yeah, I liked it a lot. Just seeing her play with the hard light, and we get to see the different ways she can use it. I thought that was pretty cool that we get to see that in this episode, not just seeing them being used as platforms or just a giant hand. It was just seeing it being on a defensive side and different ways to get to use it. I thought that was really cool. I really liked the whole scene, like how you said, pulling the fire alarm, and it's like I didn't even think about it, but like I'm thinking this is just a dinner or something like that. By this time, I'm forgetting the fact that this is a wedding and you just pull the fire alarm, you know what I'm saying, during the wedding. It's like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? So that's a memory that they're going to have forever. I'm sure they're going to touch on that probably later on too. I didn't even, like, that didn't even really register to me. I just was ready to get to the next scene with the action and everything like that. But yeah, she just, yeah, she messed up their wedding in a sense. Um, but yeah.
But to add to that, remember how the aunt or one of the family friends said, I saw Kamala do it. You know, it's just so weird. I just started doing it. And the mom
Snitch.
at her, and the mom came when the daughter came at home. She said she did not ask, "Hey, Kamala, are you okay?" The first thing she asked, "Did you really pull the fire alarm?" So remember what happened in episode 2? The whole auntie is just talking about rumors, talking about the gossip, talking about this. They did the same thing again in episode 3. So I can't wait to see with what and how that continues in episode 4 with the rumors and the gossip, maybe about the train and everything else. So it just shows that each of the family, everyone sees something, but they say something different. Or now what is coming true, not that the aunties see, or they're talking more about the truth as well. So maybe that could change. Instead of lying, instead of having misinformation, would they be telling the truth now?
I don't know.
Interesting.
But to add to what Steve was saying about Cameron and everything, it was just very funny how he said, like, "Hey, everyone has to leave. They will all kill you, like, right now."
Mhm.
And a lot of people was like, "But they were also nice to me." I'm like, "Woman, that's the point. They are nice because they want something
She's
out
a
of you."
kid.
And
Yeah.
yes, Steve
Mhm.
just said it perfectly. She's a kid. She was getting close to her own history about her grandma and everything else. So I love how Cameron just said it, like, look, I know what you saw. I know what my mom said. I know how mama acted. But I'm really telling you, she will kill you. So you need to get everyone out of here. And I do agree. Kamala did have her own throughout the fight. Glad that
Mhm.
she didn't beat them. She literally held her own. She didn't beat not one of them. They did go down. They got back up. These guys were like the fucking Terminators, because I felt like, all right, cool. Y'all get knocked out a couple of
They're
times. Yeah, sure,
jinns,
at least
man.
it. But like James just said, they're exactly gyms. Also, I do want to say I've seen from the timeline that uh, some people from Muslim and Pakistan, they didn't like this part of the lore of the jinns and with her lore as a character. I haven't had the chance to do the research of why. So, but do you guys feel like they could have done something better, or do you think it's more about the culture of how they just tackle it for
I
themselves?
mean, I think it's a dumb nitpick because the show goes out of their way to tell you that there's different interpretations of jinns. So I
Okay.
mean, they're telling you that it's not one specific thing that might be tied to your religion. Like, it's different kinds of jinns in different religions, in different cultures. They call jinns different things, and they have different abilities. Some are seen as good, some are seen as demons. So I think it's a dumb comparison, because if you're watching the episode, again, they go out of their way to tell you that depending on the culture, it's different. So if this is actually different from the Muslim culture, well, they told you it was different.
Hmm. Fair
Steve,
enough.
do you
That's
have
well
any
said.
thoughts?
I didn't have
Yeah,
any thoughts, but that's well said.
Okay,
yeah. I
cool.
mean, like you weren't paying attention. Like, you know what I mean? But again, like you said, Vash, the important thing is she didn't win, right? She did enough to survive. She did enough to survive until the DODC showed up, and then they just arrest everyone. Now I thought the Djinns would have put up a fight against the DODC, but I think maybe they think it just makes more sense for them to just get arrested. Like they'll just get a lawyer. They've been in this dimension for 100 years. I'm sure they have really good lawyers. They have the money. They have the clout, the connections. So they can just get arrested and then they can fight another day. You know, how did you guys take that?
I was not bothered by it. They got captured. Um, and then Kamala got out, and we're gonna talk about that after of who saw her. But just knowing that they didn't give no shot of the mom or the Jinn seeing Kamala or eyeing her like, hey, we the evil type of villain, we will get you next time. The kid got away or something like that. So I wish we got some type of line that yes, it's very cliche, but the mom looked like she was so built to kill the family upstairs in the wedding, but not kill these people who are the cops. Makes sense because they're more jurisdictions. But if you kill the family of Kamala in the wedding, wouldn't you also cause a whole crime scene? So I'm really curious to
True, but
see
it's
those
like when it comes
choices.
to cops, there's levels to this shit. It's like if a bunch of people are dead, that's one thing. You have cops investigating, but when cops are dead, that's a whole different thing.
Good
That's
point.
a
Good point.
whole completely different thing. So it's like choose your battles. She was only going to kill everyone if she had to get to Kamala, right? I don't think she was just gonna walk in and the Djinns were just gonna kill everyone. I think they would have if they had to.
Hmm.
Another thing, they just pulled out these like ancient like weapons out of like nowhere.
Right?
So it's like, do they have other abilities that they just didn't use? Because I just saw this guy literally pull an axe out of his asshole.
So,
Like,
so my question about that: do you think there's like a pocket dimension where they have weapons, like a boy Megumi, like there's a whole pocket dimension, you just grabbing out swords?
they're Djinns. It's possible. Like we don't know what the extent of their powers are, so it's like it's possible.
And once the weapon is not being used, does it go back, or do you have to put it back yourself? Like I know I'm asking obvious questions that we might not know the answer to, but those are questions that pop up in my head. Like, okay, swords popping up, pocket dimension. Where they coming from? What does it matter? Are they made of metal? Are they made of tech? Aliens? So I was like asking so many questions. Like, whoa, this is interesting.
Yeah, so her and Kamala and Bruno get out, and then she uses hard light to hold the door, and then Nakia shows up. But Nakia is kind of upset because, at first she kind of sees this hero as someone that's putting like a bad like microscope on the mosque, right? So it's like, and she wants to talk, but there's no time for clarity. Like, we need to get out of here right now. I'll explain everything to you later. So I really hope that they don't like hold on to that too long. I hope they don't have too much animosity. I hope that like her, Kamala, and Bruno can have like a civil conversation, just like, hey, this is why I didn't tell you. This is why Bruno knows before you, because he was literally at Avengers Con with me. And here's what it is. Now you know. And I hope it's not a big deal. I hate it when movies and TV shows take something so small with friends and make it a big deal just for drama. That shit pisses me off.
Mhm. and
Plot.
and I could see them doing that because this is a kids show.
I guess.
Yeah, so I could see them pulling that off. But I do think that that's one of those things where it's like it shouldn't be drama because it's like now you know as well. And then not only that, like you guys know my secret identity. Like that should be the drama. Like nobody should know. Like you know what I'm saying? Nobody should know my secret identity because if something happens to you, now I am, you know what I'm saying? Now I am in jeopardy or something like that. And you know what I'm saying? He's going to Caltech. Now you're way across the world and I become a big superhero. Who are you telling that you know me, et cetera, et cetera? So I think like I've always stood strong on if I have a secret identity, nobody would know If I had a superpower, nobody would know my secret identity. I've always stood strong on that, and I think that they should do
So
that
you
as
don't need
well.
a nurse, a doctor to heal up those wounds.
If I'm a superhero,
I
hopefully I
I
can
would keep
heal.
my mask on. I would
Yeah.
never reveal my secret identity, and it's fuck their protection. It's about my protection because people are
Hmm.
going to use them to get to me. They're gonna
Hmm.
hurt them and use them to get to me.
Hmm.
Much like we saw a bunch of that in Obi-Wan. It's like, well, your feelings betray you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not gonna tell anyone. No one's gonna know ever if I can help it.
La-
I'm not gonna be like Barry Allen on The Flash, because now like 50 people knows who the fuck he is. It's ridiculous.
Tony Stark
With
saying,
50 and also having keys to the Star Labs and literally having a
Stop.
walkway entrance.
Stop.
So
Tony
sorry, I'm gonna
Stark says,
continue.
Tony Stark sits there and says, "Come get me," and then they blow up his tower, and it's like, I can't believe they did that. Excuse me. you, but
But
yeah.
going to add to what Steve said about I believe my theory is Bruno would tell Nakia himself what's going on because Kamala will not be able to because she's not in New Jersey. In next episode 4, Kamala and her mom will be traveling all the way back to India. Oh no, sorry, Kazakhstan. Sorry, well, I'm pronouncing
Pakistan.
wrong. Thank you.
Mhm.
So they will be over there in episode 4. This is a theory, but also because I saw the trailer for episode 4 too. So those two characters will be going there. But will Kamala be able to tell Nakia? I don't think so because I think we're gonna jump to her going straight to her country, and with Bruno be like, hey, since she left, she told me to tell you the full information what's going on, or why hold it off? They're literally walking together. You could just show a scene right before we jump to the new episode. It just show, hey, so this was going on. Thank you for helping me. My arm hurts. Can you take me home? Boom. Throughout the
Yeah,
whole walk,
but
you can literally say,
some of that still needs to come from Kamala, right?
oh yeah, of
Like
course, to give her side of the
I'm with
story.
you for sure. Yeah, yeah. Bruno could definitely like look. Let me fill you in real quick. Here's everything that's been going on. Cliff Notes version. But yeah, talk to Kamala. So
Yep.
let's jump to where Kamala gets back home. And this is where it gets really sad, because she walks in and you can see her brother. You can see her brother and his wife, and they look so sad, right? Because I mean, their wedding was fucking ruined, right?
Mhm.
And her mom asked her like, "Did you pull the fire alarm? What's going on? You can talk to us, just tell us." But she can't say anything. One, if she says anything, her mom is gonna fucking flip. She's not even, if she even starts talking about the bracelet, she's not gonna listen to anything that she has to say. She already knows how it's all gonna play out. So she's just stuck in this lose-lose situation, and it just fucking sucks. This is the parts of the hero's journey that just sucks, where it's just like, I could tell you this one thing that would fix it all, but if I do, I ruin everything. I give
Mhm.
away my secret identity. I put you in danger. It's just lose-lose all around.
Yeah. So I feel the same way with that situation, especially because just like she only knows so much herself as well. You know what I'm saying? As a
Right.
viewer, we feel like, what I'm saying, your mom has powers and everybody in your lineage has powers. But what I'm saying, obviously, what I'm saying, she's not telling her because she's protecting her, or that's what we think. But from Kamala's perspective, my mom doesn't have anything to do with this, et cetera, et cetera. So there's so much, to unfold with that, to unwrap with that, because it's just the fact that you don't know what, what I'm saying, what she's thinking, what's really going through her mind. You can only assume so much of, I can't tell you because of a super secret identity, et cetera, because she does not, the person, the actor or whatever, does not know what the watcher knows, if that makes sense. So that's another perspective as well that we don't get to see and that we don't know of.
Yeah.
I felt bad for I felt bad for Kamala because just coming home, going through what you just did, that you just fought 5 people, and you literally was told that, hey, you have to press this fire alarm to save everyone here because my mom will come and kill them to get your bangle, and then you fight them because they treated so nice to you. So like Steve said, she's a teenager, so for her to get treated nice by an adult and get treated very well, better than her own mother right now, and telling her more information about her own history more than her mom. And right now she felt some type of connection to her. It's because about her bangle and to her great grandmother, and then coming to find out that she had to fight to survive and to ruin her brother wedding, and then coming home, um having Bruno to get hurt as well, and then come home and then get yelled at by your mom, not even asking, hey, are you okay? Then ask her what happened over there. But instead, the first thing you get told is because you eavesdrop or overheard people saying, I saw Kamala pull the fire alarm. Instead of trusting your own daughter or asking, hey, what happened to her? Instead, you're going to accuse her for a
Yeah.
daughter. The actress showed a great expression saying she felt pain because her mom, and she felt pain because she couldn't tell her mom. So she felt pain both ways because she's her daughter getting screamed at by her mom, and also because she's her daughter trying to protect her mom. So that type of psychological aspect of everything we explained is such. Remember that she's a child, she's a young teenager,
Hmm.
young adult, however you want to see it. So deep down, I honestly thought the character Kamala was about to tell her mom. No lie, because of what happened earlier in the episode or the day before for her. It was that her mom and her had a close type of connection in the bathroom when her mom, saw her knee. So I thought for a second that maybe Kamala was like felt a connection and like, hey, mom, this is what truly happened, because Kamala felt scared. So I thought for a second she was gonna be the truth and explain to her what's going on. But I'm happy she didn't, because again, I feel the theory that her mom knew about the train, because the same thing when she spoke about her in the bathroom, saying that I had to leave because I had to get away from things, and it was very hard because this was her mountain to climb. Could to come to America, that's her mountain to climb. Any person who is first generation could relate to this. So to see that and hear that, maybe her mom had the type of abilities, and maybe her mom, sorry, her grandmother is also connected to Bengal because she also saw the train later in that scene. So maybe her mom had an idea of the train, because it would make sense. Why would Kamala go to by herself back to her home country? The best person to go with is her mom, because because the grandma also say, bring your mom too.
Yeah, so
Hmm.
let's get into that scene. So after
Sorry
all
about
of this,
that.
Kamala goes upstairs. She gets a phone call, FaceTime call from her grandmother telling her to come to Karachi. You gotta come right now. And then she tells her about the train, like Vass was just saying. Like he
Hmm.
telling her that she also saw the train. So it's almost like everyone, maybe everyone that's worn the bangle before, has touched it, has any experience with it, saw this vision. Now, we were talking about this just a little bit before, but I'm not sure if Kamala's mom saw the vision. I think she stared clear from all of it. I don't think she's ever touched the bangle in any way to activate its abilities. I think she's completely clueless. I think that's why she doesn't like say anything to Kamala. I don't think she knows anything at all. So with Kamala trying to get her mother to go to Karachi, to go to her grandmother, to then talk about this vision with the train and the bangle, that's something that I'm really, really interested in. This is a great moment for Kamala and her mom to truly bond and to learn more about each other. Because of all of the struggles that her mom has been through, she is just trying to shield Kamala from the terrible things that she's been through. And I think Kamala is going to be more receptive to that. And I think that her mother is also going to be more receptive. That Kamala is like, she's not irresponsible, but she wants to be free, right? So I think there's going to be a lot of great moments between those two characters in the next episode. And with the grandmother, I'm very excited to see what she knows about the bangle, if
Hmm.
she's ever worn it, if she's ever used the power. How much does she know? Does she know where it comes from? Like, did her great grandmother tell her these stories? So
Or is
I
she
can't
wearing
wait.
the other bangle?
Right, like we don't
Hmm.
know. Yeah, so Steve, right, like what did you think about this ending scene?
I thought it was really cool, and I love the cliffhanger that they've given us again. I'm really feeling the cliffhangers that we've gotten in Miss Marvel so far. Um, but yeah, I for one, I think, because didn't she say bring your mom or something like that? Or
Yeah,
I like so she's
she
like,
says that
I
she has
know,
to come too.
yeah, she's like, I know you saw it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's the reason why I feel like her mom has seen it and does know a little bit more than she lets off. I do feel like in the first episode, it was like she's just super overprotective. Heroes or blah blah blah, you know what I'm saying? And just being overprotective. And it was played like that on purpose. And then as this story is unfolding, we're finding out why she's so overprotective and things of this nature is because she does know the power that is within them. Because I feel like the family has the power and the Bengals just unleashed it, yeah, in a sense. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah,
feel like it's just the lineage that has the power in general. And then so us finding that out in the next couple of episodes, hopefully, we'll put some more light on that, and it just the Bengals just give it enhances the power or something of that nature.
yeah. I
Um,
completely forgot to. Sorry to interrupt. I completely forgot to bring that up. When they were messing around with her powers in episode 2, Bruno
mm,
has this tablet where he's looking at the scanner. He's telling her that the energy flow is coming from her core. It's coming from
correct.
inside her. The only
Mm-hmm,
thing that the bangle did was unlock her ability. So
mm-hmm,
what it is, I think starting with her great grandmother, I think everyone in her lineage from there, like just from the great grandmother's side, is
mm-hmm,
Even her
part
brother.
Jinn, has Jinn in their DNA, but
mm-hmm,
they need the bangle in order to unlock their abilities. Much like the X gene, like everyone has the X gene, but it doesn't come out with everyone. Some people it has to be forced out of them. Like Deadpool. Deadpool has one of the most OP powers in of any mutant, right?
yeah.
Like he's immortal. He can come back from anything. And it didn't activate automatically. It had to be forced out of him. So I thought that was really, really cool. And another reason why I think it's tied to the Kree is because this could be an interesting way of like introducing Inhumans, where there are people that have like Jinn DNA in them, much like Kamala and just like Kamran.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I I really love that you said it on the nose on the whole Jin and with the XG and everything because you bring a good point. Maybe the mom hasn't used the bangle. Once once the mom saw the bangle, yes, you 100%. If you don't want your daughter to touch it and you says it's junk, you should have put it away in a much better secure place instead of having it in your attic and literally anybody could just go and grab and touch it and it's just grab and steal it from you. AK Cameron's mom could literally just go into the attic and just grab it herself, but she did not know. But so maybe my theory could be thrown out the window next episode once we find out if her mom has ever touched the bangle or put it on for her to activate it. Maybe what I just said earlier, just not a couple minutes ago, her brother maybe don't actually have that because maybe he has never touched it himself either. So maybe he didn't see maybe he didn't see the train either. So that's a good point, James. I'm bringing that point up.
Yeah, and we'll find out in episode 4, man. Like I have been loving the way that they've been just unfolding all of the different parts of the lore surrounding the bangle, surrounding her family, like just layer by layer we're just learning more and more and being more ingrained into the Muslim culture and everything from Kamala's perspective. This series, we're only 3 episodes in, but I think this is one of the best written series that the MCU has done so far, man. Like the writing and the production work is just superior, bro. Like Moon Knight and all of these other shows all have great cinematography. They all put in work, but the production and what they do with like the animations and the VFX and all of these different things, like there's certain elements about Miss Marvel that just makes it a little superior for me.
For me to add and prove your point, like I was telling Sam much earlier today, the reason this show is doing better in writing, whatever people might say of how they feel about the lore changes and everything else, the reason this show is doing much fantastic in its writing and the cinematography thing, because this was after all these shows during the pandemic where they knew what to do better with scheduling, production, and the whole they didn't have to do rewrites like everything with from going from WandaVision to Multiverse of Madness, all those shows and movies that has come out between them is because of COVID. As much as people want to blame the writing to short episodes and not too long, is because, as much as people don't believe, the pandemic caused a lot of production problems, and everything was pushed back. Editing, everything took in those problems forward. So people need to understand that's why Miss Marvel is so good, because they had the chance and time to write it and just get it finalized of how they wanted it. If by the end of episode 6, would we still feel the same? If it doesn't fall, we will get back to you in the answer in 3 weeks.
Yeah. Steve, let me get your final thoughts on these 2 episodes.
Um, really, really good. I don't know, have a place to rank it yet. I'll wait till episode 6 drops. But
Yeah.
I'm really, really enjoying it. I don't know where everybody is. There's constantly Marvel is losing it and all this other stuff, and I don't see it. But I'm really enjoying this. I love this show so far. I feel like they're doing a good job of keeping the teen aspect, but also keeping it Marvel and like carrying it and to that threshold, carrying it through that threshold of showing the darkness in some situations, the dark moments and stuff like that, but also keeping that lightheartedness because this is a show about a teenager. So it's gonna have to have that, and I appreciate the fact that they are doing that, and they're playing a good dynamic of just playing both sides of and just not overdoing it with the teenage stuff and not overdoing it with the trying to make it more adultish and stuff like that. This is its own show. This is its own thing, and they're doing a great job of doing that.
I echo that completely, dude. They have a perfect blend. Like, it's not too much teen crap, not
Hmm.
too much adult stuff, not too much like, oh, religion, religion, religion. It's the right amount in every episode. Love it. Vash, what
Hmm.
about you? Final thoughts.
My final thoughts of Miss Marvel or episode 2 and 3.
Episode 2 and 3.
We didn't get to dive deep about the wedding. I will say this: I love the wedding. About the dancing of the whole family going in together, and with Kamala, with the whole Bollywood music, Brown Jovi, I think it's what was his name. It was beautiful to see
Bon
that.
Jovi, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and to
Brown Jovi.
see,
Living.
and they had the song "Living on a Prayer" made sense. It's one of his top hits. Part of me thought there was going to be a cameo scene of our boy Haja. Whoa, wrong name, wrong series. Is on Star Wars. Not Haja. Kango for a
Well,
Kango.
second.
Kingo is in the care of Arisham right now, so he's not even on Earth, bro.
Ah, yes, yes, you're right. Um, Still, I totally forgot about that. So I guess that got debunked. Overall, that wedding, seeing a Bollywood in MCU, the music, the tone. I was talking about this with Sam. The tone, I'm sorry, the music choice sometimes is inconsistent. Like the choices are great when it matters, but then sometimes they just do a inconsistent music choice. And I feel like they could be better, or maybe that's to appeal for the pop culture, for the audience. For that being said, it makes sense. Episode 2 and 3 overall still entertain me. I love the lore, the changes for the Djinn, for the all for her powers. I hope some of theirs come true because this is something I'm very hyped for. Again, I don't have no knowledge about Miss Marvel like Steve. I know about her character. I know the cliff notes of her character. Do I know the comic book and everything? No, but I can't wait to see what they do. Will I read some comic books in the future of hers? Yes, I will, because her character is very well done, and the actress did a fantastic job. And she's also, like James have said, a fan like us. So I can't wait to see what else is in the future for episode 4, because I'm kind of excited to see what set designs and how will the production look for the country, and did they actually go there, because I do not recall if that has ever been said.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they'll be on location. Yeah, so it'll be they might be on some location. It might not actually be in Pakistan, but
Yeah,
we'll definitely see that when it comes up. But I've been loving Miss Marvel so far, like I mentioned before. I like Steve mentioned. I just have to echo what Steve said. Like, it's just this perfect balance of all these different elements. I'm a huge Kamala Khan fan. She's one of us. She's a super fan that became an Avenger. and I just want to live her life. Like, I love Kamala so much. And that's the thing that the MCU does really well. You don't have to know shit about the comics, because in a lot of these situations they change it completely from the comics anyway. There's no Kree, there's no Terrigen Mist from the Kree, so you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. The 10 Rings in the MCU is literally different from the comics in every way possible. So it's like, you don't need to know anything from the comics. Like, that's the best part. Anyone can just come in, and if you make comic book references, us comic book fans will pick it up, we'll eat it up and have fun with it. But general audiences don't have to feel left out. I think that's the one thing that the MCU is superior to Star Wars, where I've said this before, but Star Wars, they expect you to read all the books, the comics, play all the games in order to know any information that's going on within the universe, right? Like, Lando's daughter in The Rise of Skywalker. If you don't read the books, you'll never know that was Lando's daughter, and you probably will never know, right? So it's just like, I love that the MCU, they've created such a great universe, and they're doing something really good with these Phase 4 shows, and I can't wait for episode 4. I can't wait for 5 and see how it's going to wrap up in episode 6. But Steve, tell the people where they can find you online.
Whew. Yes, you can follow me at ScubaSteve1428 on all social media. You can follow the Blurry Mind Pod, and there's a link tree that leads you to all 9 of us. And yeah, man, right now, just having a good time on the internet.
Vash?
You can follow me at Legendary Vash anywhere else. And guys, if you listen to us, please show this to your friends and family. Just like you want people to watch Ms. Marvel, just like you enjoy our content. Like, we talk the good, we talk the negative, we talk and critique it and break it down. We give the production side, we give a fan side, we give the critic side, we give everything. It's not like every other YouTube channel or articles they give the negative and always talking about the shit posting and everything. So if you like our discussion, if you like who we are, if you like our personalities, not just the content, not just because we cover some series, but if you like us, continue subscribing, continue supporting us. And if you just like this, if you share this to your friends, if you send them a link, if they ever watch you or not, but those little things count, and we appreciate every single little thing. That's what I asked for. If you find me, I appreciate it. But this is more important, and I appreciate that, guys. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you guys can follow me on Twitter at JBExclusive. Follow me there, where I talk about movies, manga, comics, anime constantly. You want to find everything else that I do, go to carefulforspoilers.com. You'll find links to all of the podcasts on the C4S Podcast Network. The merch store got some new shirts on there. Also links to the Patreon as well, where we have some exclusive content. We do Blu-ray giveaways over there as well. Links to all of the social media. It's all right there on the hub, right there on carefulforspoilers.com. Check out You've Got to See This. Episode 11, like I mentioned in the beginning, is out right now. They reviewed Lightyear, the Bollywood film RRR, and Hustle by Adam Sandler. Definitely check out that review. Those guys always do a good job breaking down movies. And again, let them know that the Villains crew sent you. And guys, thank you so much for joining us. Everyone in chat, thank all of you guys for showing up. And follow us tomorrow, where we'll be back again to talk about the Obi-Wan Kenobi finale. I can't wait to talk about that episode. The finale was fucking insane. It has some of the best Force stuff that I've ever fucking seen. Absolutely loved it.
Was it the best episode? Was this the best one out of the 6?
To me, it was.
Find out next time on Dragon Ball.
Yeah, and you'll find out why I think so tomorrow on C4SVillains. But okay, guys, thank you all so much for being here, and until the next one, we'll see you guys tomorrow.